How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the After Chat. I've got that weird drop frame thing again for some reason that happened on Ham Nation. I don't know what's been causing it, but we're going to try and sally forth. A lot of this show is really about just answering your questions. I realized I may have to do I don't know if I can do this live. Let's see if I can switch live. I might be able to. Let's see. Does that work? All right, we may just have to go with that. Cool. All right, we're going to have to ditch the Christmas for this. Thanks, everybody, for coming on out here. Our goal is to help you get started in amateur radio and also just hang out and have a lot of fun. We'll talk about pretty much anything. If you got questions, this is the right place to ask them. Link is in the description to our Discord. And if you go down to hashtag live-stream, that's how you can join in on all the fun on asking your questions. There's a voice chat and a text chat, whichever you're interested in doing, and that'll work. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's dive into the after chat. Oh, we got a ton of people in here. Last week's was also really good, so appreciate everybody.
Second to that.
Howdy.
Yeah, and Josh.
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead and finish your statement, and then I'll get started.
Well, I was just going to say, congrats on 300K.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. It's pretty wild that
314,000.
Yeah, keeps going up.
On the way to 500,000.
Yeah, that'd be a nice number.
Looked it up. It's $15,233 that's been raised so far.
I heard through the grapevine that Josh is going to give out a flex when he gets 500,000.
Man, I haven't even gotten a flex yet.
Hey, so Mike mentioned, I said something earlier about that in the stream, and Mike had mentioned that the number, although it says 15-something, the actual donations are over 17,000 right now.
Yes, the donations are over 70K, that is for sure.
Wow.
If you give me a minute, I'll look up what Good Game sent us this morning. And keep in mind that is as of this morning. So as of this morning, with the live stream and people directly donating, $17,831, and obviously that has gone up as the day has gone through and people have seen Mike's stream.
Well, one thing I was curious about in the stream, and I asked it at one point, and Mike put it up on the screen, but nobody ever said anything. How do can we bring teachers into it, or is this like they're going to take care of the teacher side of it and we shouldn't worry about teachers?
The answer is you can tell teachers to apply. The teachers have to apply to the ARRL's team for each phase of the training. Now they have phase 1 and phase 2. And if the teacher applies, there's a $100 application fee that's essentially the extent of the expense to the teacher or to the school system. Everything else gets covered. So basically, the way I read it, and understand this is just the way I read it, and I haven't heard anything official, the idea is to get teachers that have a little bit of skin in the game so that people don't just apply for it, go and have a paid vacation in Connecticut, of all places. Not that anybody wants to go to Connecticut.
Right, but there's got to be some talking up of it, right? So you can't just take a teacher that doesn't know anything about it. There should be something that the ARRL has that says, hey, and gives teachers a reason why they might want to be interested in it.
I know a couple of teachers, and I know a principal of a school, and I've talked to them about it. They haven't applied. Obviously they obviously don't see value in it, even though every single one of them spouting STEM, 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 and they're not applying. But
Yeah.
they have to be somewhat vested in it. They have to at least understand that there's benefit to them and benefit to their students. And the thing
Yeah.
is, most teachers.
Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yep, we hear you.
Oh, great. Thanks.
And my brother-in-law is a math teacher at a high school here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he is interested in going, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he wants to know a little more about what he's going to learn when he gets there.
Have
And
him reach
Steve
out to
has a
Steve.
little. Well, I did. I talked to Steve even, but so far I don't think they've gotten together. Anyway, sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
Somebody's got a loud keyboard. All right. So this is the after chat. This is your opportunity, folks who are new in the world of amateur radio or just first timers to the Discord. If you'd like to say hi or ask us a question, now is the time. First timers and people with again first timers to the Discord and people that have questions, come forward. Okay, that would be great. Go for who's the first?
I'll go for it.
Tex, go for
I'm
it.
I'm a new one. I'm a new addition to your group here. I'm a new ham, licensed ham. I started with just my technician, and a week later I moved up to general, and I'm debating on the extra. So good to be with you guys.
Right on. Do you have any questions or anything like that?
I'm good right now. We're having fun.
Excellent. All right, very good. All right, who's next? Anybody in there with a question? Go ahead. Anybody? Yeah, why is my mic low? Jeez, every time we screw around. Maybe it was the Christmas lights, guys. Maybe the Christmas lights did it. Any first timers in the chat, first time here in the Discord that'd like to say hi or ask a question? Go ahead. Wow, nobody. All right, well, that's cool. We can just get started with other fun stuff. We'll come back around to any newcomers, first timers, and see if they get their mic stuff sorted out. All right, any comments from today's show or anything along those lines?
It was beautiful to see that light string just literally walk its way up and fuse itself out.
Yeah, it killed itself real good.
Legitimately pretty.
Yeah.
That was good.
So
It was good.
So for those that missed it, I think I've got it here. I'll pull up the video. So here's the capture.
Did it take out the?
So what I'm doing here, let me go back. What you sometimes need to mess with is the plate and grid current, and I was adjusting that just lightly, touching it, and that likely caused some issue. Again, it's kind of a screwed up match. It's not a good antenna. It's definitely not a resonant piece of wire. So by doing that, I just fried something along the line, and it took them all out. So you can see that the light is literally walking its way up, and that walking is like literally the light blowing up, right? That's kind of what's happening there. So if you watch it going up the and then the other side starts coming up, then they kind of fuse together at the end, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Pretty interesting.
Josh, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
In years past, obviously you've taken these things down. When you take them down, obviously they're fused. Have any been busted from the RF? Have any gotten so hot that the glass breaks?
No, I've never had anyone that the glass has broken, but I will tell you that every one of the bulbs that that pops, like the interior gets blackened. There's like a blackened poof. Like it creates a smoky thing.
Wait, the glass on the Christmas lights? I've seen.
It lets out the smoke, huh?
Yeah, there's actually like a blackened char on the inside of the bulb.
You should do a short video and actually go over that. Show it to us. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'll do that. Because I got to take all this stuff down tomorrow before the party. All right. So any other questions? What else we got? Because I'll pack it in early.
Well,
I'm fuzzy
how many lights were on that one string, Josh?
I don't know. I went through a full box and one bundle of a second box. Hold on. Oh, here it is. So these are 300 clear mini lights. And I used, inside this, there was 4 bundles of lights. And the bundles look like this, right? You guys are all familiar. They're bundled up, right? So every one of these bundles is where the light switches. It goes to the 3-wire. Every bundle is separated by a 3-wire light. So right, that's how they can get the when one bulb goes out, it doesn't take out the whole strand like they used to back when we were all kids, or some of us were much older, I guess, when we were kids. So I used 5 bundles. There were 4 bundles in here. 3 bundles. I used 5 bundles. So I had 2 packs of these, and I still have some left over.
So if there's 300 through the box and 3 in the bundle, 3 in the box, 3 bundles in the box, you're looking at 500 lights. Got it.
Yeah.
Ballpark.
Well, knowing how those things are internal, those bulbs have that internal short fuse that's built into them.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if you run enough current through those, little shorts that are in there. If those probably pop too, and that's what actually turned the bulb black.
Oh,
Is-
so don't know. Wait, which fuse? What are you talking about? In each bulb, there's a fuse?
Yeah, they're inside. So if you look at a little Christmas light bulb, you pull that little plastic base off it. You have the filament, but at the very base, there's a thin wire that's wrapped around both conductors. And whenever it blows, it actually generates heat, and that wire then shorts out, and that's the reason why all the LEDs turn back on your strand. It completes the circuit.
Well, there's no LEDs. These are
I mean,
incandescent.
well, yeah, like, but that's what completes the strand. So whenever that incandescent bulb burns out, it completes the strand and makes them all continue to work.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I guess that's one of the other ways they get it to keep going too. That's true, because they all do work. Only one of them burns out. So they burn to fuse together to close.
Right, and it takes around, I forget. There was another YouTuber that actually showed it, and he showed the magic inside the bulb,
Oh,
and he
cool.
actually cracked the glass open and showed you the little tiny filament at the base that shorts out whenever the actual filament burns up.
That explains how we're able to see the light string continue to fuse and work its way up the light string. Because I was wondering the same. That's what one of the things I was wondering is how are we seeing this thing fuse from one end and not kill the entire string? So that makes sense now.
Yeah, it was really cool. I never knew until I saw that video. It didn't really even dawn on me that they actually have this little bit of engineering baked into these bulbs.
Yeah.
Where it's like it makes a short. But I'm wondering that thing that makes the short, if you run too much current through that thing, just like any other fuse, if that also will pop and blacken the inside of the bulb because it's designed to handle a little bit more current, I assume.
I'm guessing that that's probably what's happening, because usually when these things start popping, I'm putting 500 watts through it, and they burn real bright. And then when they pop, the antenna just doesn't work that well after that point. Once you start losing a lot of lights, the characteristic of the impedance of the antenna goes completely out the window. It's almost like you're electrically shorting it as you go. It's pretty wild. Now, of course, this isn't backed up by me breaking any of this stuff apart and really testing the aftermath, but maybe I'll do that this year. I'll save a bunch of them and we'll do a bit of a deep dive on it. Right on, cool.
That YouTuber is Mr. Carlson's lab.
Yeah. Very good. All right.
What mast were you using on the Nissan?
I wasn't using any mass on the Nissan. I was using the DX Commander Classic poles that I used last year for the 40-meter vertical phased array.
Aha. And what do the neighbors think about the display?
I don't know. I mean, we saw that one guy that walked by with his dog, and he was like looking around, like, "What the heck is going on?" I've explained it to some of them, and then nobody really comes out. Maybe they look out their window, but nobody's really said anything. They've seen me working on the antenna because I was out there most of today working on it.
I was
And
also out there.
that's right. Benjamin helped me a lot today. I've had people stop and say, like, what are you doing? Is this a Christmas light show that you're putting on? I'm like, kind of. It's an antenna. And they're like, you can use Christmas lights as an antenna? And I'm like, yes. Kinda,
Josh,
again.
I have an idea for next year that I might be able to facilitate for you. So you can take the audio output of FT8 and pump it into an FM transmitter and tell people that it is a light show. And they can tune into whatever frequency you set your FM transmitter to and listen, and they're going to just hear FT8 going, and they're going to try to figure out what in the world is going on here. And in reality, you're just having them hear FT8. I happen to have one of those FM transmitters. If you think you want to do this, I'll send it to you for the light show.
You'd have to pipe the audio into it. No, I mean that's a lot of work, and I don't think anybody really cares. To be honest, I am like a dork, doing all this stuff in my front yard, but nobody's really said anything like they noticed the lights flashing or anything like that. They just don't really say anything. So yeah.
Have you tried AM? That would probably work better with AM.
No, I haven't, but that's not a bad idea. Why do you think it would work better?
Well, then they could just use their car radio or whatever, maybe, and I suppose it kind of, their car radio. They could use maybe if they had a shortwave receiver. I don't know.
That's what they would need. They would need shortwave to be able to probably tune in.
Just give all your neighbors a gift, and that gift might include a shortwave receiver, and then you have your own little light show they can listen in on and see maybe.
Yeah, there you go. That may be, yeah. When it says tune in live and it's like 14.227 megahertz.
So which mode would work the best for actual voice? Would it be FM or?
No, single sideband's fine. Any mode is fine. We got a couple of questions. So we're going to take those on the text side. So Joe, or Jose, says, can you ask a question? So this is for everybody watching. If you're just in the text chat, it's fine. You just say question or at Ham Radio Crash Course, and we'll see it, and we'll get to it as we go through the list. There's not necessarily a queue we work through, but we do give priority to people who join us on the Discord that have questions that they want to ask. What? My son's here. He's hanging out today. What's up? You keep tapping me like you want to say, oh, okay, say hi. Come here. Get in. Slide in.
Hello.
Slide in. You got to be in the camera shot.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your help today. All right, so any questions? We'll take a voice question if we got it on the Discord side. Anybody here for the first time like to ask a question, or just any open dialogue, any questions? Let's just have fun before we wrap things up for this holiday weekend / Monday.
I have one highlighted from YouTube if you want it.
Sure, go ahead.
This is from Mr. Guerrero. Question, smaller HOA yard, inverted L or vertical antenna for 10 meters?
Probably a vertical, because a 10-meter antenna is very small in comparison. An inverted L, I don't know that I would use an inverted L on 10 meters. I probably would just build a dipole or do a vertical.
Especially for 10 meters on an HOA.
Yeah, a vertical is probably the way to go. Vertical antenna for 10 meters is really not very tall at all.
What about a DX Commander Rapide?
Yeah, that's even too big, though, right? Because that's like going to be way taller than 10 meters. 10 meters is a really short band, if you think about it.
Yeah,
for antennas.
With a vertical, believe it or not, and y'all know I love Callum's antennas, but an elevated vertical actually works better. And 10 meters is really easy to get vertical, or get up in the air, sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Here's an interesting one. Where'd it go? What happened to the question? Oh, the message got deleted. Bro Weaver dropped his question. All right. Let's go into the Discord and say hi to some of our YouTube friends. Do we have any in there? Let's see. Well, Carlos is there. We already talked to Carlos. How you been, Carlos, since yesterday?
I went to sleep much later than I normally do last night, and nowhere near as inebriated as Mike. So I'm able to do things today. I just had my normal little drink. Everyone that donated to the live stream last night, thank you. I know that Mike doesn't get anything. I know that YouTube doesn't get anything, and all of it is going to the ARRL's Teachers Institute Fund. You all made it happen, and the night ended in the 15K ballpark, and you all rock. You sent a bunch of you guys sent a bunch of teachers to learn about radio. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, no, it was nice that we could turn something as chaotic as last year's 9-hour live stream into something that was actually beneficial. So I know that Mike was very excited about the idea, the prospect of it, and working with Steve and the folks at the ARRL to figure out how to get their charity stuff set up. That was nice that it all worked out as well as it did. So fantastic. I think it was nicely done all around, everybody who attended and all the people that supported and donated. Thank you again for that. That's actually going to help quite a few teachers hopefully bring amateur radio to their schools and really show people what it's all about. So nicely done.
Exactly. Other than that, I mean, same stuff, different day. Went to the park today, played Parks in the Air. I did not get blasted out of the air by a net. Imagine that.
I think you handled that very well. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
But there is actually I would say a problem with people causing interference and just being bad actors to Parks on the Air people. And it's becoming
I had
very
interference
frustrating.
today.
Yeah?
I had interference today. Someone was generating deliberate interference, and I know it was deliberate towards me because it didn't happen until I spotted. Right. While I was hunting and I was getting other stations, not an issue. The moment I got spotted, within 5 minutes, QRM came on top of me. But you know what? The last laugh is always mine because I still managed to get 150 QSOs in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's a good afternoon for me. That's an enjoyable afternoon for me.
Yeah, for a couple of hours. And why don't you tell people what you run for your POTA setup? Because you're out there. Well, I've worked you out in the field a couple of times, I think.
Dude, my POTA setup keeps getting wilder and wilder.
No, that's cool. Walk through it. Tell us your evolution.
So this year I bought an ice fishing hut, or an ice fishing shanty, if you will.
Okay.
One of these pop-up units. Because, look, I'm a tropical boy. If you don't know this about me, I am a Puerto Rican. I was born and raised on the island. I am a tropical boy. I live in Indiana. You think that's kind of a weird thing. Yes, I agree with you. That's a weird thing. I married a Hoosier, and guess what? We live in Indiana. So I bought an ice fishing hut. I have a buddy heater and a 20-pound tank of propane that I take with me out there. It's fantastic because I can fit 2 or 3 people inside of the shack. So I can do multiple operators, and everybody can be comfortable, right? And I'm running an IC 7300. A DX Commander Expedition POTA /Soda, and I just go out and have a lot of fun with it. If I will set that up if I'm expecting to be there for multiple hours. If I'm only going to be there like a hit and run activation, I'm going to get my 10 and get out. No, I'm not setting up all that mess. I'm setting up an NFED. I'm setting up probably the KM4ACK NFED and my 7300, and then going, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be there multiple hours, oh, dude, let me tell you, it is lovely to be inside of an ice shanty in a t-shirt. It's fantastic.
Well, we know Don.
Everybody else.
Yeah, Don Inizo is a big fan of the hot tent, right?
Well, that's how I got the idea.
Yeah.
I saw him, doing the show that they do on Tuesday nights from his ice fishing tent, and he does an ice fish. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, hang on. If Izzo's staying warm, which, by the way, Izzo worked me today. Thank you, Izzo, if you're watching. Um, uh,
It's
if
even
Izzo
funnier
can
than
stay
that, Carlos.
warm,
Do you know where he's streaming from when he's in the hot tent?
in his garage,
In his garage.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Right? It's in his
yes,
garage, right?
Yes. That's where his wife kicked him out to so he could smoke his cigars. He smokes his cigars in the hot tent.
Dude, but the thing is,
No, it's great. I just think
know
it's
that
hilarious.
he's taken that, he's put that thing up in his backyard before and done
Yeah.
streams from the backyard. And I thought, look, if Izzo can stay warm there, so can I. So on Black Friday, one of the local sports fishing stores type stuff had a deal on them, and I was like, you know what, that's inside of the budget that I set aside for this. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it, give it a try, and if it doesn't work, I'll just return it. Guess what? It works.
Yeah.
That and I have the smallest buddy heater, and the smallest buddy heater will go something like 3 hours on a 1-pound tank of propane.
On high, right? Because
On
I
low.
used it on low. Yeah, I used that on the Thomas Mountain camp out when I slept in the Xterra. I just had the buddy heater and just crawled under my quilt. It was nice and toasty.
I have a carbon monoxide alarm that I bring with me just in case, because I don't want to die.
I did the same thing, but it was tested. Many people have tested the buddy heaters, and they do not. They don't have the same problem with carbon monoxide. They do have a shut off. They work pretty well for that. They're really safe.
But
I'm with you though. I still carry one too.
I'm of the school of Reagan, man. Trust but verify.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, as a Parks on the Air setup, it is extravagant and large and heavy and way more than it should be, right? But I will freely admit that I'm a wuss when it comes to cold, and my wife wants to accommodate my crazy eccentric or wacky hobbies, and doesn't want me to come home freezing.
Yeah.
So that worked out.
I love it, man. Thank you for sharing your setup there. I'm actually we're going to be taking a little bit of time doing a mini vacation here soon, and I've got to put together what I want to take. I haven't decided if I'm going to go full 7100 Go box and some kind of more larger antenna, or if I'm only going to be backpack portable. I know my wife has squared away some time for me to do a proper multi-hour POTA. I haven't decided what to do yet.
I did mess up and I didn't mention the fact that I have a 280 amp hour battery with me.
That helps.
So I can run for So I can run for days, man. I can run that 7300 for days.
Yeah.
I built this 280 amp hour battery, and the first time you take it out, you think, man, this thing is heavy and it's cumbersome and so on, and how often am I really going to need this? And then when you get home and you don't have to worry about charging it, and you could go back tomorrow and you don't have to worry about charging it, you go back the day after and you don't have to worry about charging, you're going, hey, wait a minute, this is actually practical. This works.
Hey, a question?
Yeah, 1 second. Let's hit Jose's question really fast. He's a newbie, and he started out in airsoft, which, believe it or not, that's a lot of ways that people end up with a Baofeng. They have an X50 diamond antenna on the roof and an iPad, and they'd love to have an SDR app to use with the antenna. So there are a number of SDR apps that you can use, but you generally have to have some kind of Doingus dongle thing to be able to go from USB-A back into USB-C. I know Android is a little bit friendlier with some of the SDR apps. Has anybody used a iOS app for connecting to an SDR dongle?
No, Mike's not here.
So here's what I'm thinking. The cable adapter that I'm talking about is an on-the-go dongle. On-the-go is something that is pretty much completely supported by Android. I am not aware if iOS supports it, though. I don't know if anybody knows that. No, iOS USB support. Okay, yeah, that's what I was worried about, Kawana. Yeah, so okay. So if I can, go ahead.
Mac OS supports cubic SDR. That's what I use.
Okay. Yeah, no, the problem isn't the software. The problem is, how do you interface the dongle? Do you just use a simple USB-A to USB-C dongle on your iPad and that's it, or what do you do?
Yeah, just a simple, just a little plug thing.
Okay, then there you go. Jose, try that.
Yeah, I
Is
thought
the
Mike said.
Lightning though, or USB-C?
I
It's
think you can go from
USB-C on my MacBook Pro, and it goes to a USB-A for the dongle, or whatever the dongle is.
Yeah, Mike was saying that there are adapters from Lightning to quite a few other things. Because iPads are going to have Lightning cables on.
Yeah, it's an iPad, not a MacBook. But I think probably maybe one of the better things to do is probably get a Raspberry Pi, and there's a number of SDR software that you can install on a Raspberry Pi, and then stream it to your iPad from the Raspberry Pi.
Or talk to Don, and Don's got a line on a something.
Yeah,
Well, I've stopped using Pis, but yeah.
So that was the way we used to do it. Is we'd plug the SDR into the Pi, and then you use the Pi to create a local Wi-Fi network, and then you basically VNC into the Pi via the iPad using Putty, or was it no? Oh gosh, what was the app we used for VNC on the iPad? I don't remember what the app is, but that was kind of the way we did it. Well, that was how I was doing portable, like digital modes and stuff like that before the 705 came out. Once the 705 came out, that made my life so much easier with that regard. Gosh, I haven't.
I think it's the Smart SDR. It'll actually stream right off the Pi, and you can just do it through a web browser.
Oh no! If you add a Pi, then everything is easy, much easier. But I think he's trying to go straight to the iPad with the SDR, and that's the thing I haven't. To be honest, I haven't really looked at it because I just go grab my cheap $100 Android and I plug my SDR into that, and that's what a lot of people do. Yeah, in fact, here it is. Hold on, let me see this. My little Lenovo M8 Tab. I got this at Walmart for $100. This is it's like the Jankopotamus of tablets, but it's Android, and Android's a little bit less fussy when it comes to connecting devices to it. So that's generally why I use that.
Well, Android is just Linux under the hood.
Rob has a good point. Use a web SDR.
Yeah, but what's the fun in that? He's got the antenna. He's trying to see what's local to him.
Yeah, if he's trying to hear what's local, that's not going to work.
Jose, that's that. Oh, but Jose is in. He's outside of the states.
I saw Portugal.
So I don't know what you have in Portugal, but I know we got the $75 Jankopotamus at Micro Center. If you got a Micro Center in Portugal, you should check that out.
There are places in Europe that have stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's see if I can knock through a bunch of these. Claytonio, have you heard of the DigiPi from KM6LYW? I have. And in fact, there's been a couple of devices like that in the past. They were extremely popular, again, before some of these more smarter HF QRP radios have come out. RigPi, or the DigiPi, was a big thing when 3 years ago, everybody was trying to get their hands on one of them. Don, do you have one of those?
No, because to me, as far as I know, that's nothing more than Pi-Star. Because it's a hotspot, isn't it?
I thought the DigiPi was a hat for the Pi for doing, it was an SDR. Am I wrong?
That wasn't what I read, but maybe, because I saw a video from the guy that did it, and it looked to me like he was just basically showing you how to set up, or he had a piece of software that would just auto set up Pi-Star. And I've grown a lot more cynical of Pi-Star.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The open spot is just so much better.
Chris Bricker is asking, is your antenna rotated? I keep responding to you, but I don't see me. But to you, but I don't see. Oh, I don't see you. Okay, I'm not sure what you meant by that, but I think you mean that I'm not seeing you. I'm pointed north-ish right now, northeasternly from my location here in California, trying to get up over the pole into UK. All right, and
Yeah, I just
question.
pulled up the.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just pulled up the DigiPi stuff, and it says hotspot. So,
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't know.
If you want my real opinion on a hotspot, and you like your life and your time, and you got a little bit of scratch put away for something, go buy an open spot and then enjoy your radio. The open spot is so good. It is so good. It is one of my. I don't do DMR. I think a lot of people know that. Not because I just don't really enjoy using it. I'm just not that big a fan. Nothing wrong with it, but if I had to hotspot, I will always open spot 4. I use it for P25.
Okay.
I use it for YSF. You name it. Go ahead.
Yeah, what he's doing with it, he's doing all kinds of digital modes inside of a Pi. So like APRS, WinLink, WSJTX. So he's got all those things set up in there. So yeah, it's a little more than a hotspot.
This is the image. This is the you can download the image for the SD card, RigPi, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, this isn't a hat or anything. So this actually has a long history, and the gentleman who did RigPi, who creates it, he's been around for a while. I think he's been on Jason's channel. Obviously, I'm a big fan of KM4ACK's Build-A-Pi script and what he's doing, and they're very similar products. The problem that the DigiPi ran into, if it's the same person, if it's the same thing, at one point he had a rootkit loaded on the software list, and he wouldn't remove it. And so there was some people that were more security minded that were like, why do you need this? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And he was very defensive about it. Very odd. And then there was some kind of nagware about supporting what he does. You have to do something. And it was all just kind of this weird, I didn't really understand. He and I exchanged emails, and he got kind of nasty with me about it. And I'm like, look, man, I don't want any software loaded on your image that you can pull information off of, or you're pulling, why? Why are you doing this? And he didn't really have a good answer for me. And so I was kind of like, I'm passing. I'm not going to, we're good.
Well, I think the guy that you're talking about is the guy with a 3 call, and this guy is a 6 call. Well, there are two different ones, and there's one that I had a really big fight with him on.
Let me,
and I think that's the guy, but this guy I think is different because I think, but
I don't know. I can't remember now, and if you're not that person, I'm not trying to offend you or anything like that. As far as just saying, Josh, are you gonna do anything with the DigiPi? You got to give me a little bit more context than that, because I don't know. I can't remember all these things. That's impossible. So I don't know, I guess, is the question or the answer. This is a good one. Question, Josh, are you planning to bring Drew back to promote TI even more? Absolutely. That guy is a ball of energy, and he's great on an interview type setting. I sent him an email while we were live streaming because we were going for so long. I'm like, I got to do some work on the back end here. Yeah, he was super cool. I hope to work with him doing a live stream in the future. Let's see. Hammer, Carlos needs a Chinese diesel heater. Much better setup. You can go days on a fuel tank, and it can run from a small battery. 2 guys had the diesel heater at the Thomas Mountains campout. One was in a tent with a porthole that they had installed, and the other one was Kevin, W6RAP, and he had it set up in his Bronco, which was really, really nice.
So
yeah, they're great.
As a guy that's used to... as a guy that's used a diesel heater before, not by owning one, but by having a friend that had one, they are stinky not because they burn inside, because they don't, right? They exhaust everything out, but you still have to fill it up, and it never the fill up hole, if you will, the place where you pour the fuel into, is never large enough, and you always end up spilling diesel. And take it from a guy that drives a diesel. I drive a diesel car every day. The smell of diesel inside of a tent is not pleasant. So a diesel heater is not the answer I want. I know that it would go longer and stay warm and so on and so forth, but I just don't want to deal with the smell of it.
Can you get one of those diesel heaters that run on French fry oil?
My car could run on French fry oil if I changed the filters on it. I would have to change the filters, and I would have to change the lines because the lines for the fuel are not rated for that level of biodiesel, and they would wear out. I know because I've seen it happen. I have friends that have other diesel cars that thought, it's going to be fine, and then, inside of 3 months, they have to replace everything because their lines corrode out, because biodiesel is exceedingly good about cleaning the system. So don't mess with biodiesel unless you know what you're doing, because you're going to mess your system up.
Yep. Good question. You're the second person that has mentioned there being a waterfall. Is my mic still? Oh, there it is. The waterfall for the SDS 100 and 200. Does anybody have any more information on this? Because I do want to check that out if that's a real thing. Link us in the live stream chat. That'd be appreciated. Yeah, I will find out what's going on there and report back. I don't know that I need a waterfall on the SDS 200, to be honest. It's really just a scanner, and I want it to be scanning the same frequencies. I don't use it as like a VFO fine-tuning driving around kind of thing, but nonetheless, it's cool tech, so I'll take a look at it.
Oh, I forgot I bought a scanner.
Question, how far did you have a two-way connection? So the furthest two-way connection I think I've ever had was from my home, and it was a little over 100 miles. One way to one person, so person to person. They had an antenna on their roof. I have an antenna on my roof, and we were able to talk back and forth. I've had other further like long distance contacts on a soda summit when I was on a mountain, but I wasn't really asking how far away the conversation was. It was when I was doing the 50-watt transmitting in my home that I was like, oh, hey, I'm actually getting down to San Diego. That was pretty impressive.
I've had communications tens of thousands of miles.
Yeah, but he's saying like two-way. I think he meant like
right. Well, that's
two-way radio. I think he meant like a handheld.
And the guys was.
I assumed handheld.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the question, but okay.
Well, that was my assumption. I assumed handheld, but yeah, if you're talking like just radio to radio, cross continents into other countries, thousands of miles, no problem. That's not hard to do, particularly with 10 open. With 10 being open, oh my gosh, you can get down into the deep South America easily on any given morning without a problem. You can get into the UK. I'm getting into the UK from Southern California on a good 10-meter morning.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, they installing the waterfall on the SDS. So, okay. What is there a link for it, or is it software?
Jody dropped a link.
Ooh, Jody, thank you. So this is, somebody asked me what's the beer. We're at the brewery. This is a Mischief Hoppy Belgian-style ale. 8.5. It's kind of a heavy boy. Let's pull up that unit in. Oh, it's a waterfall feature. Okay, so it's using the screen already. You don't have to do any hacks on the hardware. That's great. Let's see. Oh, okay. Ooh, hey, look at that.
It would be cool if they would implement like decoding FT8 on there.
I guess it's a scanner though, right? Like I don't. As much as that's
yeah, but why do we need a
cool.
waterfall for a scanner?
There are web SDRs that will do FT8 decode if that's
yeah, yeah, you can do that. Plus, I mean, it's I don't know that.
I was just saying, what's the point of the waterfall on the SDS?
Oh, I agree. I don't know that there is a point because it doesn't do single sideband. So you're not really driving around looking for weak signal stuff. And what's the point of FT8 on that? It's like, I don't know. It's an SDS 200. It's a scanner.
Yeah, To and Jim have on on Nuggets have been doing trunking SDRs, trunking SDRs.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And most of those applications do have waterfalls on them, and they are somewhat useful in determining, okay, here's the control channel, and here's what I'm listening to, and this is what it's doing when it's bouncing around. So for that, yeah, but I don't know in general, no.
Their freaking stream with Unitrunker was driving me crazy.
What's that? Oh, dude,
their stream with Unitrunker, dude. That's like the easiest software to set up. I was cringing.
Oh, you could have been in the chat to help them. They take your help.
I'm pretty sure I was at work when that was going on.
Yeah, Steve, those guys. That's actually the point of that live. So let's give some respect to them. They're turning the cameras on and going live, and they're doing it in the blind. Most of the time, none of them have any previous knowledge of this stuff, and they're just doing it. So like cringy,
For
maybe.
Sure. It was awesome to see it in the mainstream. It was awesome to see it in the mainstream. I'm glad they actually did it.
Okay, Chase. So keep in mind, they're walking in blind, and they're accomplishing a lot in an hour while also live streaming. And if you were able to do that the first time you ever touched any of this stuff in 1 hour, you got to give credit to that at least, because that's pretty impressive.
Oh, for sure. No. I'm not knocking them at all. I'm not knocking them at all. It was just crazy to see it. Sure. Like, just, I don't know, maybe I've just been doing it so long, it's just easy.
I think that's what it is. You've gotten so used to it that for you it's a snap, but they're literally doing it firsthand, never done it before. So I think it's great because it encourages people to try new things. It encourages people to try new things and experiment and fall flat on your face and fail, but pick yourself back up and keep going, right?
Yeah, it's awesome to see it in the mainstream. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that it's everything except D-Star. They never conquered D-Star.
Don, I wasn't on that stream, so it
any of us conquered D-Star
probably happen.
I have. Yes.
Yes. Plenty of people.
I still get figured out.
It's but the thing was, they spent, I think, 2-3+ hour streams trying to get it working.
Just make a D-Star contact to like a talk group, or
they were setting something. No, they were setting something up, and I don't remember what it was, but it was, and I think in one case they were struggling with the 705.
Okay,
and it's in the 705. I think they were trying to set it up as a D-Star forwarder or whatever the heck, because it's got that one mode that allows you to use it kind of almost as a telnet server. I never quite understood exactly what they were trying to do.
Yeah. So that's a good point. Mastering all of D-Star would take quite a long time because there is actually a lot to that mode. If you mean just like hopping on a repeater or getting onto a reflector, that's not difficult. If you mean like setting up a DRATS node and a whole server setup and all that, like I've been getting messages from people saying, "Hey Josh, did you ever get that DRATS set up? What's going on with that?" And I need to go back because that's harder. That stuff is harder to do.
Yeah, and I know Jim's got. Sorry. Go.
No, I'm sorry. My son's going back inside. He brought stuff out, so I'm giving it back to him to head in. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, done.
Oh, I was just going to say that Jim has that same similar setup as y'all do on HRCC, where he's got D-Star and YSF and DMR all linked into their talk group.
Yeah.
For Toads. So, I mean, he can do that, but whatever they were doing with D-Star just was not.
Yeah,
they were on it for literally 3 hours and it never worked. So that's the whole point is that's their running joke.
So Jose's back with another good question. By the way, Jose, I like your curiosity in this area, particularly in getting started in radio. And K6ARK, our friend Adam, he's commented to you, and of course Adam is spot on. You'd likely and Adam's a little. Everything he's saying is accurate, but if you had to pick a direction, right? So 10 meters, right? The 10-meter band in amateur radio is open now, if you will. It's normally not. Every 11 years, the sun goes through this solar cycle, and during the peak of intensity of the sun, the opening for 10 meters is much higher, right? And so we're kind of experiencing that now. So for me, right here in Southern California, if I get up in the morning, and let's say I woke up at 7 a.m., I could tune up my antenna and point it kind of. I have a directional antenna, which means my RF goes in pretty much one location, one area. If I got up and kind of pointed a little bit northeast, I could get into Europe, into the UK, all the countries over there. That, though, the distance, just purely the distance, is difficult for all people to be able to communicate there. And there are sometimes just not atmospheric paths that exist to do that. Adam is also 100% correct that you will have a much easier time of hitting the east coast of the United States. You'll have no problem hitting them with even just a vertical 10-meter antenna with a 10-meter radio. You could likely even do it with 50 watts of power. Or something around there, like one of those monoband 10-meter radios. If you wanted to go with something a little bit more expensive, like a 100-watt radio, you'd be able to get a little bit further out. But all of that is highly predicated on the atmospheric conditions at that time. Good answer, too, from Adam. Appreciate it. We were doing... Let's go back to talking to YouTubers, because we stopped on Carlos and we didn't go any further. Let's make sure we say hi to all of our friends. Next down the list is Frank, right? Frank is next, I think, after Carlos. I think so. Frank, are you there? Oh, well, we'll come back to Frank. That would mean the next is Grayman POTA. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing good. Good. Trying to enjoy some time off from work and spend some time with my kids and stuff like that. So haven't been getting out doing as much, but I am going to try to do a POTA on Christmas Eve and one on Christmas Day.
Hey,
and, get that recorded. So
do you have kids?
I do. I have two young sons that are still at home. So,
are you taking them out with you?
They're not quite ready for it. My 11-year-old is kind of showing some interest in maybe learning CW, but then that kind of waned. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I can seldom. So you're in a similar. Ben, who was just here, is 10. Similar situation with me, right? We got kids at home, and my wife on holidays, she doesn't let me get that far from the house unless I take the kids. That's usually the rule. So she's like, "Yeah, you can POTA. You just got to take those kids with you." And I'm like, all right. Which Ben will sit still for a POTA. Edison will not. Edison is a handful.
I think as long as they've got internet access on their tablets, they're good.
Yeah, he could Pokemon. He's a big Pokemon Go guy. He could Pokemon. Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. I'm going to give a big shout out and let this man take the floor for a second. James Hannibal, Quirky QRP. Thanks, James, for running all those giveaways that we've been doing. Appreciate that, in addition to all the other stuff going on. And thank you for your QRP donation style on yesterday's live stream. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was an amazing show. That was so cool. I had no idea so many donations we've made. That was just incredible. I'm doing great. Yeah.
I started out thinking, wow, 10 grand. Mike, that's pretty awesome. That want to see it.
That was a bold bar to set, but I mean, wow.
And we blew past it, man. Blew past it. I cannot. I hope everybody is impressed by the power of the YouTube communities. And I don't really just want to say YouTube here. I mean kind of like the newer online capable communities in amateur radio, right? Like the internet is helpful to amateur radio, and this is a prime example. But sorry, go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, well, I was actually at a holiday party during a good portion of the show and sneaking out to jump back on and make another QRP donation without getting in trouble, and I got away with it mostly. But it was great. And so let's see what else. Did CQ Santa with my kids. That's always fun. That's my son's second time doing that. Mm-hmm. And let's see. I loved your Christmas lights antenna again, as as usual every year. Always entertaining. Did some RFI hunting with my dad. He's having some RFI problems.
Good.
You know, as everyone tends to have when a new wall wart gets purchased.
Yeah.
I've gone to the dark side and started playing with full auto on WSJTZ. That's trouble.
Fully semi-automatic.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'm building stuff and I'm trying, and I want to make. It's like, do I want to spend my time playing ham radio or working? And it's like this lets me do both on occasion. So I'm enjoying that for now. But it's weird to just let the computers talk to each other without any human interaction. Kind of strange.
Love it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what's going on my end.
Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. And yeah, right on. All right, next, going down the list. By the way, if I miss anybody, don't take offense. That's not intentional. It's just because I don't know all of your Discord names to channel names or anything like that. And if you're a YouTuber, we do want to say hi to you. Next on the list is Adam, K6ARK. Are you on mic there, buddy?
I am indeed. How's it working?
Sounds good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been sick all week, so trying to get over that. And yeah, I haven't been sick in probably 3 or 4 years, and something finally got me. I don't know if it was COVID or not.
I was going to ask, did you get COVID?
Kicked my butt. I don't know. I didn't have a test, so I'm not sure. But it wasn't fun anyway.
Well, you never get COVID if you never test, right?
This is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, I'm feeling a lot better the last couple days, so that's good. We're gonna be heading out to Joshua Tree 26th through 30th, do some camping and climbing and hanging out there, and probably some ham radio operating, a little bit of POTA, perhaps even a soda, and let's see what else. I sent a batch of kits and antenna kits and microphones in a couple. Yesterday? I think yesterday I dropped them off at the post. So there should be some fresh stock probably in the next week, or I guess early in the next year, perhaps. So there are some 100-watt kits in there. I think about 50 of them.
Wow!
And mic kits that people were looking for, and I'm working on a bunch more 100-watt kits. That's going to be the next shipment. So.
Did were you doing 100-watt kits for a while? It felt like you kind of stopped doing them for a bit.
I wasn't really producing it. Yeah, well, I put out some initial batches, and then I just got super busy with work and mountain rescue over the past year. I got back on the board for the mountain rescue team, and just didn't have quite as much free time to put parts in baggies. So yeah, I'm trying to get caught back up on that so I can try to keep them in stock a little more consistently. I see Chase asking if I'm still producing CW keys. No, I've posted most of the designs on printables and encourage you to print your own. I will post the retractable one. I just haven't gotten around to it, but that one I think doesn't have as good a feel anyway, but it is kind of cool because it retracts like the Palm Pico. So it's a popular one.
Your larger one has better feel, but I do like the retractable because it reminds me of the Palm, and that
right. It's just cool.
So portable. It's so portable. It's so easy to carry with you everywhere. So yeah, that's awesome.
So
go ahead.
A couple other sort of product related notes. I just got a batch of 100 built capacitive touch PCBs. They're about postage stamp sized, and that's what I use to put the capacitive touch keyer into the mountain toppers and other small radios. So I will likely put those up for sale and see how people like them, because I understand the previous one that was available through hamshop.cz, I don't know that it's still available. It may be out of stock at this point, but I was able to finally get mine manufactured. The ICs for the capacitive touch came down in price significantly, and I was able to get some of those made. So that's pretty cool. And then I'll throw out one more little upcoming build / potential product hint. I just sent a prototype of a replacement paddle for a KH1 to a friend that has a KH1 to try that out, and I think it's going to be really good.
Excellent. Okay, well that's great because I know that radio got some comments on the sponginess, the feel of the paddle. There was some folks who were much more CW active than I am that were like, I don't know, this is not my favorite, but it's really portable.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That sounds great, and I know that.
And
you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know they're improving the key too. They're making some design changes. The key issue with that key is that there's no mechanical stop when the micro switch triggers. So you have basically over travel. The key keeps moving after it triggers the key. And what you want, the feel, the feedback you want to your fingers is the key, the lever to stop moving when the micro switch triggers. So they're making some design changes, and it sounds like it's going to significantly reduce that over travel and make a big improvement on that problem.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I know they're pretty forthright in wanting to work with other people who are creating, novel upgrades to their key. I know when I talked to Wayne, and I just mentioned, I was like, oh, I got a buddy that's, looking at touch, capacitive touch and all this other stuff. And he's like, oh, that's cool. All right. I love that. So they're into it. I think this is probably, I don't know, Adam, you probably know a little bit more about Elecraft than I do, at least the history of it. So Wayne is the big portable CW guy. Like a lot of the radios that came out of Elecraft, particularly things like the K1, the original, the KX1, KX2 probably to a degree, but like these are they're all kind of the brainchilds of Wayne, but he's the guy that likes to go portable. He's the guy that likes to really get out there and use the radios in the field. And this radio, the KH1, feels like it's literally the culmination of, like, they told Wayne, go make something you want. And he's like, I'm doing it. I'm on it. Like, this feels like his baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It certainly seems that way. And, all the feedback I've heard from people like Thomas and some of the others who've talked to Wayne and been like, dude, you built this radio for me. And he's like, no, I built it for me.
Right. Yeah. He said that on multiple live streams that I've watched. It's pretty cool. I absolutely I love the fact that he has a company where he can go make a very niche radio, and he can just say, I'm making it for me. If you want one too, we'll sell it to you. But like, if you don't, no big deal. It's no love lost. We're all friends. If you don't like it, that's fine. And there's a ton of vocal people like, I don't know why Elecraft did this. Why does it do single sideband? It's like, because Wayne doesn't want to do single sideband. He doesn't need single sideband. He wants CW, right? And so I just love that. I love that about it. So
yeah,
very cool.
And finally, someone built a portable radio that's not black.
Right? It's got R2D2 stylings on it, right? Because it's that gray with the blue stripes and all that. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Well, the black radios, they practically overheat just even before you turn them on, just sitting in the sun.
That's true. That was the big problem I had with the 5105, is that it would overheat on. I had 2 sodas where I had to, like, where there's no shade. There's literally above the tree line, and it's just earth and rock up there, and you're like, well, I guess I got to stand over this to provide shade to the radio to cool it off. It was wild.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, if you're looking for a POTA in the 26th through 30th time frame and you want to swing by J-Tree, let me know.
When is that? You said 26th and 30th?
Yeah, 26th through 30th, I'll be in Joshua Tree. So, I should have cell reception for the most part.
I think that's when we're going to be out in Palm Springs. 1 or 2 days.
You know how close that is to Joshua Tree,
I do. I know. You knew my whole thing. My wife was like, "Oh, there's a soda that's really close by Palm Springs." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what is it?" She's like, "San Jacinto," and I was like,
"Yep."
I'm like, I don't know if this is the season for San Jacinto, and so of course I pull up YouTube and I start searching San Jacinto soda, and the first one that comes up is you cross country skiing up the damn mountain. And I'm like, Leia, this could be us. We could ski uphill. Do you want to do that? And she's like, no, no, I don't. And she's like, is Adam in the area? Can he take you up the mountain? And I'm like, I don't think so. It was,
hilarious.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent hike too, right? Because you take the gondola and it's still like a 12-mile hike, right?
Yeah, it's I think 11 or so round trip, so it's not terrible, but you're at 10,800 feet at the summit, so you're sucking wind up there.
Yeah, and I don't know what the conditions are like, but I'm assuming at this time of year it's cold for sure. The question is how much snow and ice, so I'll probably just leave that alone.
Yeah, especially with the recent storm, it's definitely going to be snowing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I have no desire to do 12 miles in snowshoes. So
yeah,
there you go.
I'm looking up the webcam for it up there right now. They've got a couple of webcams up on.
Oh, drop the link if you got a good one.
Conditions. Yeah, I will. Yep, there's snow right up. It looks like 2-3 inches right around the tram elevation. I'll put it in the chat here.
I'll tell Leia. So. Oh no! The QDX overheats every time you take it out in the sun. Is that true, James? That's not good. That's not good at all. Let's pull up
the spray paint the case white.
Here is the San Jacinto trail cam. That'll do it. That'll get you. That'll dust you. Oh, didn't want that.
And that's basically just at the tram. That's not even up.
Oh yeah, that's not at higher elevation.
Almost 3,000 feet below the summit. So.
Leia? Yeah. San Jacinto has like 2 inches of snow right at the tram.
I know. I bought snow clothes.
Oh, so you want to do the tram regardless?
Yeah, the tram
okay. We're doing the tram regardless. So I'm not, but I won't be hiking to the summit, everybody. I won't be doing the 12 miles to the summit. Not with that.
It's totally worth going up the tram. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to do that for sure. Yeah, does the floor actually rotate on the bottom of the gondola?
Oh yeah, it totally does.
Where else should we go in Palm Springs?
Oh, Leia's asking where should we go in Palm Springs, Adam?
Oh, I don't know Palm Springs all that well, but you should come out to Joshua Tree and do some POTA is what you should do.
So Adam at the same time, I think 1 or 2 of the days is he's going to be in Joshua Tree. And he's like, you should come to Joshua Tree. Do some POTAs.
Well, we're going to Mount San Jacinto. Isn't that enough, Adam?
No,
testing.
It's not a POTA. It's not a POTA. Testing, we hear you, Testing. You made it.
How is it not?
Oh, there we go. I don't know. Am I choppy?
A little choppy. It sounds like you're roomy. Like you got a mic that's very open to all the atmospheric, the room noise, so you're bouncing a bit.
How's it not a POTA? It's a state park.
Yeah, I'm outside, and I'm not sure if the internet's that great. I'm in Yucatan, Mexico right now. So.
Hey, oh, nice. Right on. 1 second. We'll come back to you in a second. So is the gondola area part of the park area or the POTA area? Adam?
Yeah, you'll be
I'll
up in
there.
You'll be in the state park up there. So you could totally POTA up there, or even on your way up the tram. Shoot.
At Mount San Jacinto.
He's gonna be in Joshua Tree. Oh. All right. Well, I'll POTA from that area. I'll find a spot.
You guys can park to park.
Maybe I'll go sit at that table, and then you can watch me on the webcam. That'll be the live stream as you watch me on the webcam. I'll figure out how to add super chats to this. Everybody that's watching.
Nice. I could probably work you. You could. Oh, I wonder if
we might be able to do VHF.
I wonder if the tram station proper is technically in the park. If it is, you could literally POTA from the bar up there.
Oh, now we're talking. And I could get Leia. To hang out long enough for me to complete a POTA. That's perfect. I'll get her. I'll let her run it.
You might be able to work me 2 meters up there. I'm not sure. It'd be worth a shot.
Okay. I'll pack my VHF beam then. Love it.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Well, Adam, thanks for hanging out. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Who's next? Let's give. I think the next person that I want to say hi to, Mark Hughes. Man, how you doing, bud? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you loud and clear. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Josh. How about you?
I am now fully in my first basic day of a Christmas break. So I've got some time ahead of me where I can start cranking on a bunch of stuff, and I'm super excited about that. I just got to get through tomorrow and Christmas, and then I'm free.
Well, hey, it sounds like an achievable goal. I've got a question for you.
Oh, love it.
I was on Grid Tracker yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I saw your call sign on one of the channel islands. Is that correct?
I was there at one time. I was at San Clemente with Austin, and if I did not update my location, that's not good. But yes, I've been there.
Okay, I just kept pinging your call sign over and over and over again. I don't know why he's there, but I'm gonna make a contact. So
I was there in we were there for field day this year on San Clemente in a very rare grid square. So if you made contacts with us, that is a very rare grid square. Consider yourself lucky.
No, this was yesterday. I saw you on the island, and I tried to make contact. It didn't work.
Is there a computer that I set up when I was there with Austin that I doubt it? Okay, well now I'm freaking out. Hold on. Everybody's gonna get island grid squares from me today. We're on island time. No, I'm DM03. I should be DM03 right now. So yesterday? Because yesterday I was using the same setup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure yesterday at NAZ, I'm pretty sure I saw it. Could have been something else, or maybe I just had old info cached in my. It's a laptop I don't use too often, so maybe the issue was on my end. I don't know.
Interesting, huh?
I will say this, Josh. This isn't the first time in the last couple weeks that's popped up as an issue for you.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but it's the same setting on WSJTX, unless I was on. No, I didn't do any laptop stuff, and I do have the laptop. Oh, I just set off the fire alarm. Let's go ahead and dial the power back. Hello, everybody. Hello, family. All right, here we go. 40 meters, man. I don't know what the deal is. 40 meters is such a pissy band for me. It's always upset. And I got like a ton of family in the house too, so I know. I lowered the power. We're good. She came running in. There's no fire. We're good. Everything's fine. I love you.
That was really nice of her to check on you, though.
She's for sure checking on me. That's right. No, don't let the dog in here. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, there we go. Well, hey, man, what else is going on? Anything fun, new, and interesting you want to mention?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we're still working on Boondock Echo. We were working on pricing, but nobody's going to care about any of that. I did start to write some articles that we're putting up at the site, boondockecho.com. I think they're under news right now.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was learning FT8, I decided to start writing some articles on it, so maybe your audience can get in there and set me straight. But there's a little bit of math, not too much, but I like math. I don't know what to tell you.
Do this. Drop a link to all that stuff in the hashtag live stream, and it'll go out to YouTube and all the other places, and we'll make sure it get mentioned.
Absolutely. And then we updated the software. I don't know if you've had a chance to play with it, but it should be substantially faster on the webpage load. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help you with any of it.
I will. I'm planning to crank on some of that stuff and get a video out here soon because I know people are really. I've gotten, by the way, just from all the traction you've gotten in things like Hackaday and all the honestly the good recognitions you're getting from making a really cool thing. Lots of people reach out to me like, when are you putting that video out? I want to see it. Like, what's going on? What is this thing? I need to know about it. So I know there's a lot of people that are really interested in it. So it's super cool. Very cool.
Well, just for everybody out there in TV land wondering, we're the ones who asked Josh to hold off. He still has a beta unit. We're not really ready to take money yet. So we want to get this stuff as far along as we absolutely can before we get into that type of relationship with people, because we want everybody to have a good time with it,
Right. And so far, my experience has been pretty much seamless. I know you guys all got on a call with me and we worked out a lot of stuff. But to be honest, like it was straightforward enough that I could have probably walked myself through a lot of it. It's just a really cool way, again, just for, giving you the 30,000 foot level, everybody watching. The Boondock Echo is something you can connect to pretty much any radio, and you can tell it to monitor or listen for things, and then it will record that, and it can notify you, if you want, that thing happened. So you could list a whole level of triggers. In my case, my novel approach of using this is I've got it connected to my STS-200. My wife loves the scanner, but she doesn't come into the ham shack. She's not going to sit in front of it and just listen to it. So she just wants to know when certain, codes get called by a dispatch or whatever. And the Boondock Echo picks up on words, codes, whatever, and it'll spit out an email to you if you want with where you can go to get an audio clip and even download that audio clip for your own use. And this can be used on the ham bands with a Baofeng. In fact, it's got a Baofeng connector on it. All kinds of stuff you can do with this. All novel approach, really, really cool stuff. So I know you guys are... it already looks really good, so I can only imagine the level that you're trying to get it to before dropping it out there. But nicely done. It's a really good product.
Well, hey, I really appreciate that. And just to give your users another example, one of our developers, one of the guys who worked on the hardware with us, was at Target with his wife somewhere out in Wisconsin. And, they pulled up and there's all sorts of police and fire trucks outside. So they're like, hey, should we go in? Should we not go in? Mm-hmm. So he pulled up his Boondock Echo and pulled the feed for that area and saw, it's somebody having a seizure, and they'd already been taken out of the store. So no worries.
Yeah, that's super cool. Because you can get a direct audio feed too, right? If you wanted to. Is that right? Am I misstating that?
Yeah.
How they pull it up?
Yeah, it'll update in near real time, and we'll have free. We're going to try to get these things out so cheap that people are going to really want to buy them. And then for the monthly, we're going to have a free tier. We're going to have a $5 tier, probably a couple more up there from that. But and if that's too much for you, we've open sourced everything so you can run your own server.
Excellent work. Again, very cool. All right.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I know what's going on. I know why my radio's so pissed off. Hold on, I've got the tuner connected still. Hold on. Get my face right in here. Hello. Hi. How's it going? Hold on. There we go. All right, now we're back in. I was like, why is 40 meters so low? Like the noise floor is there's barely any signals in there. It was because the tuner was connected. So we are in business now. Hopefully you guys can hear me or I'll hear you correctly. All right, well, thanks. I appreciate the update there, Mark. Okay, moving down the list. Is there any YouTuber I missed? I think we got everybody.
I think I'm finally back.
Oh, you're back. You are back, Frank. How you doing, man? Thanks again for being on the live stream yesterday with Mike.
Oh yeah, well thank you for letting me come on. If Mike's listening to this, Mike, thank you for letting me come on as well. That is huge. The Teachers Institute is absolutely wonderful. We'll just rehash everything Carlos and you and everyone else has said. It's a wonderful thing. It's perfect. It's what's needed out there to bring in even more hams. I'll drop my link after I'm done peach teeing here, but I have part 5 of my POTA video coming out. I have one more video in the lineup to get pushed out, and I'm going to make it somewhat official. Hopefully, I'm going to be in the SoCal area the 30th, 31st, and 1st of the, next weekend, basically. And I'm going to be POTAing hard. There we go. Anyone that wants to meet up and is in the area, oh, thank you, Chase. He dropped the link for me. Anyone who wants to meet up and POTA with me, feel free to drop me a message in Discord.
Right on. What area are you going to be in?
LA. I'm thinking, I'm looking at Dockweiler, Kenneth Hahn, and Saddleback Butte on my way out of town.
Okay. Yeah, I know where Dockweiler is. That's right by work. Right on. Cool. Since you're here, I know you mentioned Grid Tracker, and there's actually a number of people that have already been mentioning some things about Grid Tracker, asking me about how I get pink lines and all that fun stuff. So, Grid Tracker.
For me, what it is, I was punching a button as I thought I was in one window and I was in Grid Tracker. I changed how the map looks like. Let me see if I can zoom in on your settings here. I just need the map name.
Yeah. Oh, the map name. Okay. So click on the settings gear, everybody that's following along at home, and go to the maps tab. It's at the top towards the middle, maps there. Click on that. I am using Flat Blue by Carlo, no labels, or Carto, no labels. Now, for everybody that's asking how I got pink lines and all that stuff, well, you check this little box that says RX Spot Paths. So what that is it's aggregating all the online posted information from people that are running things like WSJTX, or you click that button that says report. Well, what you're reporting is the people you hear. And that is what fuels and populates the map above my head. And then I go to the RX spot color and I adjust this slider until it's the color that I want. So when I'm working an active path, I have clicked the animate button, and then the QRZ path color, I have green. Yeah, and the QSX is like conversations you're hearing that you're not necessarily a part of. I have that blue, and that's why my map looks so pretty. And again, I'm using Flat Blue by Carto.
All right, maybe you can help me with this because that's exactly what I have set up. If you look in the Discord live stream chat, I just posted a screenshot of my current Grid Tracker, and it does not look. I don't know what button I pressed, and
okay, so
yeah.
That is something else. I think that is one of the side buttons here that you have illuminated. So if you look at my little side bar and make your buttons look like my buttons. Like I have the weather activated. I have POTA activated, and POTA is kind of cool. People that are doing POTA in Grid Tracker will show up as little trees, which I think is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, okay, I'll just have to start pressing buttons and see what comes up. Thank you for that. And I know we do have Chase, KI5IRE, in here as well.
There you go.
Hey, real quick comment.
Hey, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's just if you click that trophy button on the right-hand side in the tool menu until it doesn't say
that's
anything
it
in there.
Yeah.
3 lines, yeah.
So that's your trophy view. Oh my gosh, what is this? Look at that. Look how crazy my screen is when you turn trophies on. Holy smokes. Click the CQ trophy button off. Oh no.
I don't even. Oh, there we go.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Go away. There we go. Okay, we're gone. I mean, if it wasn't for like a live stream, I would probably leave that on to see what I should be chasing if I'm doing ITU or whatever. Yeah, the trophy mode is cool. It looks a little like if I turn this on, like this is wild. Oh, you could do this for grid squares though. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Whoever said that, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Oh yeah, go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Brocam?
No, no problem.
Yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it. All right, Chase. Sorry for skipping you if I missed you. Go for it, man. What's going on? And make sure all the YouTubers link your channel in the hashtag live stream or whatever video you want people to take a look at. But yeah, please share your channels. We love that. Go ahead, Chase.
Yep, I posted a video today. Just built a 130-foot end-fed half-wave Christmas light antenna today. Or I built it a couple of weeks ago, and I posted the video today. So that was a bunch of fun to make. That's finally my last Christmas light antenna video that I've done. I've done a series over the last few weeks. I built the dipole that I POTA'd a couple weeks ago, and then now this infed, and the infed did surprisingly a lot better than I expected.
How did you like? Did you try it? So I saw it come across my feed. I just haven't been able to watch it. I was literally like working on my antenna when I saw the feed update with yours in it. So what did you cut the maximum length for band wise, and then what'd you use it on, and what was your experience?
So I used it on. I think I tuned it up last week, and I was able to tune it up to 160. I just did the same. I just did the same length that my Davis RF is cut to, which is 100. Well, the Davis RF is 136 feet. It was 6 feet shorter, but so I just cut it for whatever 136 feet is.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
But it was good. I used FT8 on it, and I was able to get it to transmit on CW, but I'm still learning CW, so I didn't make any contacts on CW.
Did you note that the light moved around depending on what band you were on?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I noticed
It is.
30 was a lot better than like 20. So yeah, it's definitely cool to see it kind of change like as you're going. What is it that causes that?
It's literally the resonance area for that antenna is the band you're operating on. So if you think about if you put up, remember guys, right? The wisdom and the band creation, their harmonics are they're multiples of each other, right? So if you got an 80 meter antenna in like a long wire 80 meter and you use it on 40, it works there. If you use it on 20, it works there. Why? Because they've got harmonics that are roughly in the same space. Well, when you're transmitting, the entire antenna is resonating to a certain degree, but there's intensity spots. And that intensity spot is basically where you're seeing the light the brightest. You're visualizing where that resonance is for that band portion that you're on. It's really cool.
Yeah, these projects have definitely been like some of the like most fun projects I've done since I've been a ham.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been super exciting it's been an exciting project to be able to take on the last couple of weeks, and it's just been awesome, man.
It's a really fun thing to do because you learn a lot while you're doing it, and it gives you a little bit more confidence, I feel, with like there's so many times, particularly when I was starting out, where I didn't really know enough about antennas, and to be honest, I don't know that much now, but I've given myself the confidence to experiment, try, fail, and then try again and get to a point where we've got, some workable solution. And doing things like the Christmas lights is actually a really cool way to visualize. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm literally seeing where my antenna is resonating at, and like why I'm on, this is a 40 meter end fed and I'm on 20, and oh boy, the lights are way brighter over here. It's just really cool. The whole thing's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's just been extremely fun to play around with it. This is the most I've actually spent time building antennas. I mean, I built my dipole, my regular dipole, like a few months ago when I first jumped into HF. But other than like building that and my end-fed, that's the most I've built antennas is these Christmas lights. So it's definitely something I'm hoping to do a lot more of on my channel.
Super cool. Yeah. And I hope this helps you like in future endeavors as well for antenna building and whatnot, because it's super fun. Super fun. So yeah, I think it's cool that you tried for it. So congratulations on that. And I'm glad you were successful.
Real quick.
Thanks, Chase. And I appreciate your help too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just going to jump in real quick, Chase. You were just mentioning that this was like awesome. Just imagine if you were like 10 to 17 years old and doing that while you were still in school. How do you think that would be?
Oh, it'd be crazy.
Oh yeah, it would have been incredible, man. And that's kind of why I'm making these videos, is because I want to, try to do all these fun different projects and try to hopefully inspire younger generations to get into ham radio and just to experiment and just kind of show them kind of what the fun parts of this hobby is.
Yeah, I think the great thing about the programs, kids may or may not understand like all the theory and everything and the math behind it, but they get to see the practical application of it, and they get to put their hands on it and experience it in real time.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I'll give you. I mentioned this on the live stream last night with Mike. My background is software engineering. I'm a software guy. I understand logic and that kind of stuff. Like that's my normal. That's like my workspace that I live in. But then when I became a ham, it didn't make me necessarily better at understanding a lot of the principles of antennas and all that other stuff. But then when we're talking about them, I understand them because of ham radio from a practical sense of like workability. Like, how can we use this? Why are we doing this? Why are we going this way versus another way? And that pays dividends on the back end. Just being a ham and experimenting with this stuff and giving yourself the latitude to try things out, like a Christmas light antenna, which ultimately is like obviously not a good antenna, but it teaches you so much just through the practical experience of playing with it, because that's what we're doing. We're playing with sending RF out of a wire of some kind and seeing what we can do with it. That's really what it boils down to, and that whole all that stuff, the knowledge that you learn from that is just it's invaluable. It's invaluable for so many career areas you might be interested in, or just understanding the world that exists around you for things that we take for granted, like, our cell phones and all that other stuff, right? It's so much fun. Such a cool hobby.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, these Christmas light antennas actually would be really good to do for like JOTA and stuff, to kind of show the kids, like let them build their antenna, let them build their own antenna. And
I'm gonna do that for JOTA next year. That is such a good idea, because I think we're camping out next year again. I love that idea.
Jace, I was just thinking the same thing. That would be
So
perfect
good.
to get the kids interested just enough because they love the lights.
And then if they get their license, they can play with it come Christmas time.
Yeah, it was. I don't think I mentioned this on the live stream, but the Scoutmaster I'm a Boy Scout, so I think troops and stuff like that. But my kids are Cubs, and they're den pack and den. So the pack leader, so the den. It doesn't matter. Anyway, our local Scoutmaster, the guy who deals with all our children, he was super into this. He was like, I found out about JOTA after I talked to you about radio and all this stuff. He's like, we got to do it. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Well, I got you, man. I got it covered. And so I set up all this stuff. I got the mask. And he's like, so what are you thinking? Is this going to work out? Like, are we going to be all right? I'm like, yeah, man, it's going to be awesome. Don't worry about it. It's good. I got it all covered. You see that? We're good. He's like, yeah, but I mean, like, is it a bad weather day for radio? Like, is this going to be a problem? I'm like, no, like, we're fine. It's good. It will work. It's going to be awesome. We're all set up. Just hang out. And I brought like 40 kids through there and got them all talking on the air, not just to other hams, which we did that too, but talking to a ton of other scouts. And that Pacificon station was just so clutch in that whole day. But it was so funny that he thought that it was just like the weatherman almost, like that the band could just close everything off and then radio would be dead. And I told him, I'm like, no, you're not completely wrong, but the important thing to remember is that, like, if a band goes down, it doesn't take out all the bands. We just move to another band, and it's likely day-night cycle. So we start moving to lower bands as it gets darker. And he was like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. So this Christmas light idea is amazing because at the Boo Fest we were at, there was an award for the best setup campsite, and we won an award. But how cool would the award be if we incorporated like an antenna that was like the lights are going on and off when we were transmitting? That would be so much fun, and it would be even cooler. Probably not the same intensity. I'd have to bring an amplifier, I think, to get the intensity up. So single sideband, the nuance of voice means that the lights kind of just like they vacillate as they go up and down, kind of thing. So we'd have to figure out something for that. But FT8 is like where you get the big light, or CW. CW is really good because it flashes. Right?
CW would be cool too because you can visualize it.
Yeah, but I probably can't get the kids making contacts on CW. That I'm poor enough as it is, but like. You know what I mean? Like that's a harder call. We have to probably stick to voice.
It'd just be cool for demonstration purposes.
Oh yeah, for real. I'm totally gonna try and put this in a memory vault somewhere to say, like, dude, we need to do the Christmas light antenna for the JOTA guys. That would be a lot of fun. Oh, great idea.
You can even make a HRCC merit badge for building the antenna.
I should grab the JOTA patches. In fact, I got to run to the restroom anyway, and I'll see if I can grab one of those JOTA patches and show you guys. These are cool patches. These are like big boy patches, and the kids put that on their shirt, and they roll around, and everybody's like, "What is that? How did you get that? What is a JOTA?" And then yes, I love it. I love all that. So much fun. Yeah, I agree, Jody. That's a really great idea. Fantastic idea. So we've got 256 people watching right now for an after chat. That's fantastic. Thanks for taking the time. We're going to go back into the YouTube chats here in a second and take more of your questions and also Discord. Guys, the idea of all this, why we do this on the Saturday after hours, is to try and answer your questions and get you started, get you going the best way possible with amateur radio. So that's why we're here. So I'm going to run to the restroom for a second. If there's anybody on the Discord that has a question, just come forward. You don't need me to help answer your question. There's tons of smart people in here that'll help you out. So I'm just going to open it up. If there are any questions, go ahead right now, and I'll come back and check again, and then we'll be looking in the chat as well. So go ahead, and we'll Well, I'll be right back. I'll see if I can get that patch too.
Yeah. Adam, are you around?
I am.
Have you ever done anything with the Chrisman method of vertical phasing?
Not familiar with it. Fill me in with a little more info. For
Well-
what it's worth, I've done very little with vertical antennas other than inverted ground plane verticals, i.e., half square bobtail curtain.
Right. And yeah, there was one other question I wanted to ask you too, because I can't remember that antenna that you make out of a wire, and it's like a quarter wave down and a quarter wave down and a quarter wave across the top. I can't remember.
Half square. If you
Half
look up a half
that's it.
square, it's a half
Yeah.
wavelength across the top, and then quarter wavelength verticals.
Yeah.
So you end up with
Well-
two phased inverted ground plane verticals that way.
Yeah, I want to build one of those too. But what I'm working on right now is a Chrisman phasing box, which
Okay.
is basically you have two verticals that are a quarter wave apart, I believe. There's measurements online on exactly how far they're apart. But then what you do is you take an 84-degree line, 84 degrees. They don't never say this is the length of it. 84-degree line to one vertical, 84-degree line to the other vertical, and a 71-degree phasing line in between the two, or to one of them to phase it.
Yeah.
And that's how you get your phasing. And then you get about a 5 to 6 dB gain.
What did you call it again? What's the name?
It's called the Chrisman method, CHRISTMAN method. And the box is the Chrisman method of phasing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for.
I can drop a video on it because I don't know.
I'd rather see a model and a radiation pattern. Okay. So it's you end up with a what do they call this? A cardioid type pattern. It looks like.
Yeah. And
like a
there's
hex beam pattern, basically.
Yeah, you can get the front to back really, really strong.
Right. Yeah, I see that.
And you can also, by changing the phasing angle, you can get a very, very wide front with a very sharp null. There's a guy, MM0QPX, I think, that has experimented a lot with them. And then there's a couple of guys in the US that just like are really good with it. One of them is John Gendron. The other guy I can't recall off the top of my head. Anyway, I just thought it would be something really fun to do and really somewhat difficult. However, I think I can make it portable POTA portable. Yeah, that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just dropped one of the mini drawings on it.
Yeah, that's a switchable one to change direction.
Right. Yeah, that I've actually got the relay, and I built the box with the 5 inputs to it, and I bought the relay so I can wire in the relay. But yeah, you eventually get to the math portion of what is 84 degrees? What is the length of 84 degrees? And what is the length of 71 degrees of coax? And that's the part I'm like, okay, what is the math on that one?
So 360 degrees would be a full wavelength, right? So 84 divided by 360 is 0.233 wavelengths. And then you multiply that by your velocity factor of whatever coax you're using, because it's going to be shorter, obviously. And so let's say your velocity factor was 0.8 for your coax that you're using. Let's assume that. So then I'd end up with 0.1867 wavelengths, and then you just multiply that by your actual, calculated wavelength for your frequency.
Yeah,
So,
I'm wondering how forgiving that is too.
Yeah, the math should be accurate. I think the tricky part you run into with with phased arrays is just interactions between them, and then power distribution between the two antennas. But I don't know how you solve or address those types of problems. I think you just have to to measure. Yeah, somebody else is mentioning cut and tune. I don't know that you're gonna tune the coax. The coax length isn't gonna necessarily affect your resonance on this. And the other thing I don't know is what the feed impedance is on this. You may need a matching network to feed it.
No, you tune it for. I believe it's 36, and I know 36 is one of the numbers, but I believe it's 36Z and 0Y. So in other words, when you're looking at your SWR and you have those two numbers, one of them is 36 and the other one is 0, and then you know that the antenna is perfectly tuned. And the way that you do that is you do the one vertical first and get that one tuned, add the second one in, and then retune both the first one and the second one together, and it'll come into tune a lot quicker that way.
Nice. Interesting.
So yeah, there's a guy up in Rhode Island that's really good at building phased verticals, and that's the way he does it. But there's lots of people that do it different ways. Like if you watch Colin, who's the guy in Scotland, watch him do it. He's not that concerned about it. So, and he's had good results in it. In other words, he's tested front to back and so forth, and he can tell, like when he's talking to somebody, if he switches the switch, he loses the guy and then switches it back, and the guy comes back up.
Nice.
So it's really, really good.
It's got a broad 3 dB beam width too. Almost 150, 160 degrees, pretty easily. Close to 180 degrees shoot for 3 dB. It looks like actually on this plot.
Yeah, so that depends on the phasing angle of the not the phasing angle, but the
spacing and phasing.
Well, the spacing and phasing, because Colin uses 135 degrees in 39 degrees phase, I believe, and he gets a much wider pattern than the guys that are doing 84 and 71.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So to contrast with the half square is a bidirectional antenna. It's it radiates broadside to that upside down U, and to me the key benefits are relatively simple to set up and match. It's a 50 ohm feed at the top corner, and or you can feed it with an end-fed half-wave matching transformer at the bottom of one of the legs if you want, with just a little bit more loss that way, but a simpler setup. And it doesn't require any kind of ground radials, because it's the inverted ground plane, and you still get pretty low takeoff angle, 20 something degrees, I think, for the half square is pretty typical.
Yeah, what I'm going to try to do with this, and of course I've got to do all the build first, but my idea on the radials is to do the magic carpet.
Nice. Cool. Let me know how it works. I'm curious. That looks like a neat setup.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's just something fun to build and then something fun to experiment with. And I think if I can get it working, it would be quick to deploy on POTA.
Yeah, I think it could be decently quick. All of your work is up front in getting things set up and tuned. So
right.
So I actually have a magic carpet build that I just completed, and I'm pretty impressed. I have to say the screen door, EMP material, radial like ground plane is actually really effective. Really effective.
Did you see that guy that's up Jody's way? That's building he uses that Faraday tape and he builds a 2 meter and 440
I
chain
did.
pole out of
I
tape.
saw
Yeah.
that. I saw that. Yeah, that is a well, actually I don't know how conductive all that material is, but I'm sure it's completely effective. I'm sure it's totally fine. But so I don't want to spoil too much of this, but a lot of the problems I found, particularly with the screen door is a nightmare. Like screen door material sucks.
Right.
You cut yourself all up. You put tape on the edges. Like that's not great. It rolls up and it's this big dumb thing you have to carry around. But then they started playing around with that EMP shielding material that you can buy on Amazon.
Yeah,
and I
that's
was like,
what I-
okay, now we're talking. But then I was like, let's go a step further and let's make it something that it would be almost like a blanket. And so that's why we made that. Turns out my mom, nobody really knows this, spoiler alert for the video, she's a very avid quilter. And so I proposed this idea to her and she was like, oh yeah, let's bust this out. I got a sweet ass magic carpet, guys. Let me just tell you right now. It is so cool. And you can buy all this stuff on Amazon for really cheap. So, yeah, look forward to that. I will definitely be using that on whatever POTA thing we do.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
What you need to do is have her sew you a pair of pants out of the Faraday cloth, and
there we go.
Connect your KH1 counterpoise to it for pedestrian portable operation.
So it's and this is in the vault of videos that I haven't made yet, but this is something that has literally kicked around in my brain for years. I went and bought a bunch of conductive thread back when people were doing like the LED, when they go to Comic-Con cosplay.
Yeah.
They're using all these threads that are conductive to connect LEDs and stuff like that and weave it into fabrics. I bought 2 ponchos, and the idea was that I was going to take 20 meters relatively of this thread and try and make an antenna out of it. And I got so far as to building a dipole with it, and I had a lot of trouble. So I got the links of it out, and I had lots of spare, and I just couldn't get it right. The thread is not good antenna material. It just isn't. So I've got to find something that's a little more conductive than wire, but probably a little bit more conductive than this thread material. The thread material does not make good antenna.
How are you measuring conductivity?
Literally making a too long dipole and then continually getting it shorter to see if I can find a resonance spot. I didn't even get to that point. Like I was just like, let's do it. And so I had a bigger space that
on the string. I'm wondering how you're determining that on the carpet.
Oh, I didn't need to on the carpet. I'm using the EMP material.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. And I just was like, okay, well, what do you mean by more conductive than that?
I'm talking about Adam's point of making pants. I made a poncho. It's a poncho that you put on you that is an antenna. But in his case, he's talking about a radial, which makes more sense because you still want the whip and all that. Because a poncho antenna is probably not a good idea. But now that I think about it, I could probably do some kind of radial system in the poncho with the vertical on the KH1. This is a good way to revive that video. I'm going to do that. That'll be fun. I'll tell you though, let's just say you can get some cheap nylon, really good nylon on Amazon and that EMP material, and you can get working on a really nice magic carpet.
Yeah.
Have you seen one try?
Say again?
I was going to say, have you seen anybody try the magic carpet with like chicken wire?
Yeah, no, but that sucks. That sucks to port around. So now don't get me wrong. You can always trunk portable all this stuff, like a big old roll of screen door or a big old roll of chicken wire, all that stuff. Yeah, great ground planes. This EMP cloth though is really good, really good. It's been
and. I've taken mine out on POTA, and you get done with it, and you just fold it back up.
Yep.
It's just so easy to use. It's not like that chicken wire where you've got to, or whatever, and you've got to roll this stiff thing back up again. This thing is like a piece of cloth, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree. I was going to use what I've got as opposed to buying $35 worth of.
Well, you
can.
It's not about agreement. You can continue to do whatever you use. That's fine.
Speaker wire makes a great ground plane.
Yeah, there's just now you got 8 rolls of wire that you're carrying around with you, and you got to make sure you drag them out and roll them back up and drag them out. Versus I've got a sheet that I lay out and I'm done. Yeah. My picnic blanket is also my radial setup.
Yeah, and then
true.
When you're going to put it back up, and this is to me the big part is when you're cleaning it back up and you're tired and everything else, you just pick that up and fold it up like a blanket. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
that chicken wires or the screen was too much of a pain.
It's worth repeating. There's no like right way to do radio, particularly when it comes to antennas. There's a way that you've accepted, and some of them are compromise options, and that's okay. But there's
Josh.
Well, hold on. I'm in mid-sentence. So when you find something that's novel and cool that may fit in your system and also is very effective. So one of those EMP cloths is as effective as like a network of multiple radials that are dragged out. They may add some directionality with the sheet, sure, but largely it's not that big a deal. So okay, go ahead. Hey Josh, who said that? Was that
Sorry, that was me. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I thought you were finished. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Will you make a video sometime on how to set that up or build that or whatever? Because it seems pretty interesting to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm literally working on it. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyone got a link? Oh, yeah. I'll grab my link for the one I bought. And the one I bought was totally effective. So... All right. Anybody else in there with some questions? Let's take them while we can. I'll probably wrap up at 8:30 because I do have family here and I want to go hang out with them. 'Tis the season and all that.
Damn, it's 10:30, dude.
There was a question on YouTube that I wanted to touch on, if that's okay, Josh.
Yeah, go for it.
Is from Dorkleys. Question, VE6APN. What is the proper way to, 1, respond to a CQ call while portable, not just POTA, but general portable, and 2, how to call CQ when you are portable? Are you supposed to report the grid square? And I have my own opinions on this, but I want to hear what others have to say.
So wherever you're at, you generally, the best idea is that you find a frequency that you believe is clear, right? That's the first thing. What do we always say? Listen, listen, listen. So get onto a frequency. I know it's exciting to get there, and you're like, particularly if you're doing POTA, like, oh God, I got to get on the air quick. I got to make all the advantage of the time that I have. Take your time though, and find a spot that you think is relatively clear. Hold on one second. EMP cloth. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, there's the link for the EMP cloth. So once you find a frequency that's clear, you give your call sign. Hey, KI6NAZ, asking, is this frequency clear? Is this frequency clear? Anybody on the frequency? I'm going to use this for, whatever. And someone may come back, and that's fine. Just move on down the line. Not a big deal. If it is clear, though, and if you don't hear anybody come back to you, sometimes people do it twice. You don't have to necessarily, but anyway. So then once you're clear... you think everything's good, you just start calling CQ. And what is CQ? CQ is our Q code. So it's literally Charlie Quebec. So CQ, the letters. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu. And then usually it's predicated with whatever you're planning on doing. If you're just trying to make contacts, any callers anywhere, right? And there is a thought that the longer you talk, at least in the first couple of calls to CQ, is a little bit better so that there's enough time for someone to stumble upon your signal. So if it's CQ, maybe even slow roll it a little bit. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu. Taking any callers anywhere. Like this is me in my home station, right? Just chilling. Like I'm just hanging out, right? If I'm doing a Parks on the Air, then it's more like CQ, parks on the air. This is Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. And then I just repeat that over and over again. Or likely, if I'm with the 705, I record that, or I already just play the one that I already have, and I just replay the call. That way, the radio's doing the hard work for me, and I don't blow out my vocal cords. Then if someone comes back, you go, okay, great. You write down their call sign. So take the time, write their call sign down, and then come back phonetically to that call sign. Kilo India 7 November, blah, blah, blah. You are 5-9 into Park, Kilo, blah, blah, blah. That's the long form reply. You don't even have to say into Park, because likely they're chasing you from the POTA website, so there's not a whole lot of reason to give the Park. I just often do it again to take up some of that airspace so that people that may just be scrolling around might find me and then hop into the call and get into the queue, right? That's the big thing. What was the second question? I totally forgot that now. Or second part of that question.
Let me get back up to it.
Yeah, sorry.
And the link you shared is nylon cloth. How is that conductive?
Which one did I drop? Wrong one. That's the material that's on the outside. Hold on. Wrong one.
All right. Here's the second part of the question. How to call CQ when you are portable? Are you supposed to report the grid square?
Yeah. So I don't report the grid. Well, wait. I will log their grid square if they get it, or if I care about the grid square. And if they ask you for the grid square, then you can give the grid square. The thing is that some people don't know what grid square they're on a lot of times. Like they're not aware of what grid square they're sitting at. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know necessarily. And that's not required for Parks on the Air. Grid square is not a required part of that. So if you don't have it, and if you don't know it, then it's kind of like, well, I don't know. And that's okay.
And as far as my 2 cents goes for this, just what Josh said basically. And as far as the grid square goes, it's always nice to have it. If you happen to have it and you know it or whatever, great. There's a half dozen apps, both Android and iOS, that have, you can just open the app and based on your current location, it'll give you your grid square. So if you want to do that, that's great. The only qualifying thing I might add to this is if you're just general portable, sign it, I'm KG6NLW, so I'm KG6NLW portable, downtown Stockton, or KG6NLW mobile downtown Sacramento, or, that's how I would do that. And, grid squares, if you happen to know it, great. If not, that's fine too. But that's my 2 cents on it.
There's a great app. It's on the iPhone. It's called Maidenhead. Oh, that's literally, I just DX'd myself, or I just gave you my location. It's called Maidenhead. Use the Maidenhead app. It's really good.
There's another app. It's Easy QTH Locator, and then there's Grid Locator Finder. Are both pretty good apps too for the same thing.
App for what? Your phone?
For iOS, yeah.
Oh, I don't run iOS. Yuck.
They might have them. They might have them for Android. I know Android has a different platform.
There's one on the PC, if I'm not mistaken. Like I'm running a bunch of stuff from Mania Radio, and I don't know if you guys have ever used Mania Radio, but he's got some great utilities for Windows. And I'm running that for time and date from GPS in the field, and it will automatically set my grid square. I don't have to do anything.
But what if you're out portable? You're walking around town or what? You're walking around Newtown or whatever. Will it automatically pull that for you?
Yeah. Again, for POTA, I don't care if I'm walking around town what my grid square is.
Yeah, to go back.
I'm not using a radio for that.
To go back to the CQ question, I like Adam's take, and it was a little bit about what I was saying too. Is that you're trying to drum up some activity, right? Because you're literally trying to make contacts. That's why you're out there. So having a bit longer CQ call, is fine. You generally, the more you do it, the more you get the feel of it, right? So when I start out, I'm a little bit more long-winded with the CQ. I'll talk a little bit more to the people I'm making contacts with, just to drum up traffic, if you will. It's the same thing like putting ads in front of people's eyes, or whatever. Like if you capture people, they're scrolling around looking for something, and there's activity, and you are whatever, being that active person, then people are likely going to stop and want to hang out and wait in the queue to make a contact with you. Now, I did a live stream with Matt, AE4MQ, which I think was criminally underviewed. Matt is a very good POTA operator. He's also done some SOTA too, but we did a video just on how to control a frequency, right, when you're running a POTA, because you're running the POTA, you're running the frequency, right? And doing the right things and the way you behave is actually very effective in making contacts. How you behave is going to speed up the contacts that you make, so you can get through more of them if that's what you're about, or allow you to have a bit of talk with the people on the air. All of that's up to you and how you want to use the frequency that you're on, and really it's something that you gain by doing. But the first thing is, just get out there and make some noise enough of time so that people start to hear you and then come back and say like, hey, yeah, I want to make a contact with this guy. And then the more contacts you make, people will hang around trying to make a contact with you inevitably, and that's great. There's a couple of people I would never call CQ with a grid square. So obviously, okay, so of course on HF we probably wouldn't use that as much, right? But there is a form of radio contact where the grid square is absolutely paramount in your contact, and that's satellites. If you're doing satellite contacts, you better believe they're going to ask you for your grid square, and you should probably just call out with your grid square. That is precisely what they're looking for. So, it depends. It depends on what you're doing in radio.
And Matt in the Discord chat has a good point too. It would be really nice if people activating a park or a trail, which is in multiple states, would put the correct grid in their log. Because if they just pull the info straight from the POTA website, it just pulls whatever grid the person who put the park on the site gives it. So it could be a grid, 3,000 miles away. That's another big one.
I'm lost. You're talking about when you're using WSJTX.
No, even when you're logging with like HamRS or whatever, say you're on the California Historic Trail, which covers 9 different states.
I see.
If you put a grid in California and you're in, say, Arkansas, there's going to be an issue.
Okay. All right.
Rita Blanca.
I can get down on that.
I did a POTA rove 3 weeks ago with a guy, and Rita Blanca grassland takes up Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Texas.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like what you're throwing down. So yeah, if you're logging this bad boy, which you should be, particularly if you're an activator, right? Get out there and do the POTAs, but then you got to do that bookkeeping on the back end, right? Make sure you put the right grid square. JJ with the super chat, thank you so much. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you, and happy holidays to everybody. These are always one of my favorite live streams to do. There's 2 live streams I do a year that I thoroughly enjoy. The Halloween live stream, which barely gets any views, and then the Christmas live stream, which gets lots of views. But they both take the same amount of work, and I absolutely love doing them. So thanks, everybody, for coming out if you attended both this year. It really does mean a lot. I do appreciate it. Let's dip our wick here into the questions again. Anybody on the Discord with a question? We'd love to take it on anything, because I'm going to wrap up. We're at 8:30. We're probably going to go to 9 now because I'm not done with all the things I want to talk about. But go ahead, questions.
On anything.
How's that Motorola video coming?
Oh my God, I love that radio. I have to say, there's a trope amongst all my videos. I don't know if everybody caught up on that, but the videos The videos where I don't straight up review a thing, like if I don't review the radio, like the 705 historically, I don't have like an official review on it, but it's been in a ton of videos. I use it all the time. One of my favorite radios. 7610, no hardcore review made about that radio. It's used every live stream. Love it. That Motorola, I love it. It's the only digital mode I use pretty much at this point is P25. Great radio, an absolute tank. It's a chonky boy, and making a video about that, like I'm literally going to have to walk people through this concept of, no, you can't go to a store. No, you can't just buy this except from a guy that refurbished it off of eBay or whatever. And by the way, yes, there's a ton of really good guys that do it out there. That deserve, to check them out. And the programming software isn't the nightmare that you thought it would be. It's come a long way. Motorola's come a long way, and they have a really good amount of radios. It's just it's a very different way of thinking. To me, I want a radio that has all the bands in my hand, and with those radios, you're going to get one band primarily. And I hope you like it. Everything it does on that one band is great, but unless you're going to spend thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but I found that getting a hold of the software to program it is not easy.
The radio I have, I bought the radio, the cradle that charges it, and it had the CPS software there as well. It was a CD, so I did have to break out my external CD-ROM to load it. Loaded no problem, ran no problem. It's totally cool. Totally cool. Those are the better resellers. The better resellers are the ones on eBay that they have a good product. The radio's in good working order. They've refurbished it. It has the CPS software with it, and then maybe some accessories. But the accessories are you don't really need to worry about that.
Careful on the CPS software because Motorola owns that, and
yes.
A guy on eBay can't give it to you. It has to come from Motorola.
So that's another good point. Yeah, another good point. So the radio I have, you can make an account on Motorola, which I did. I've done both now to try it.
Yeah, me too.
I made an account on Motorola for that radio. For that radio, you can actually download the CPS software without any problem.
Oh, yeah, not mine. And I think mine's one of the less expensive Motorola's.
Don, in defense,
what does that mean? $300?
No,
$275.
In defense here, Don, we're talking apples to oranges. The XTS series that Josh has is an NLA radio, and the XPR series you have is current production model. So yours is going to be a little harder to get the software right off the bat.
Yeah.
Oh.
So mine is discontinued radio, if you will. So Motorola's
Shane didn't tell me that when I bought it.
Well, get the CPS software from Shane.
No, somebody else that I won't mention because, again, got me the software. So
does
but I mean, I am signed up with Motorola and all of that straightened out now. But I really wanted to go ahead and use the radio, so I got it a little early.
You mention him enough times, he pops in the chat. Shane's in.
Oh, he did?
Someone say my name.
Yeah, but it wasn't Shane that gave me the software.
Shane's the man, by the way. So if you have questions, I'm literally volunteering Shane for this. But so Shane, KI6QFI, really great guy here in Southern California, friend of mine. We met, years ago now, well over a decade, I think, at this point, Shane.
HRO.
Jeez. Yeah, it's been that long. I think it's been well over a decade that we met each other.
Is
Shane,
it really?
I mean, think about it. How long do you work at HRO?
Since 2017.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't been a decade.
No, it hasn't been a decade, but I did watch your videos. That's what got me into RTL SDRs. And then I saw you in person at HRO. I'm like, hey, you're the guy that does the RTL SDR demonstrations on YouTube.
Yeah, so we've known each other for a number of years at least, and Shane was kind of my guy for Well, for all the Motorola stuff, he's the guy that pointed me in the right direction. Shane, who's your, just so people can go look at him before I put a video out, who's the guy on eBay that you recommend to go check out?
So his username is Snarling Rabbit Dog 5150. His company is called Talkwave Communications out of Adrian, Missouri.
And he has a YouTube channel.
Yes. He doesn't really do much videos anymore, but he's got older videos. He even has tutorials on how to completely rehouse those radios, like to take them apart completely and then put them back together and make them look new. He goes through step-by-step process, and he tells you how to not break it. So, he's he's a good dude.
This is the guy. I'll drop the eBay link to go check him out for everybody that's curious. This is who I got my radio through. So here's an XTS 5000, which is what I got. It's like $550. Yeah, it's not cheap, no question. But what does it come with? So it has a CD for the CPS software. And yes, this is the one that you could create an account with Motorola and get. And it has a charger, whole setup. Good radio. The guy actually reached out to me after I made the purchase, and this was before he knew who I was. Yeah. He didn't really know who I was, and he figured it out after. But yeah, good guy. So I would check him out. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Thanks, Shane, for hopping on. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. I'm driving right now on my way home from a dinner in Temple City, so I'm going to be passing through your area shortly.
Oh, right on. So
yeah, 605 in Washington.
Okay, maybe I have a better link. I hope I do. That link was way too long. Will this work? Hold on. Yeah, it did. There you go. You can find him that way. All right.
Well, I'm really happy with the radio I've got, the Motorola I've got too. It's just the software was a pain, but the radio is great.
Yeah.
Don, you said you're good on QRZ, right? I can put together a zip folder for you. I put one together. Huh?
With what? Because I've got the CPS now.
Oh, you do? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
My bad.
I appreciate the thought, but yeah, I've got the software and I've got the radio all programmed. It's working great.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Shane, I'm the other moto guy, so I helped Dawn a little bit get these problems worked out.
Oh yeah, I know. You got Moto written all over your QSL card there with the Crown Vic.
Yep.
Nothing screams Motorola fan like driving around in a Crown Vic, guys. I don't know if you knew this, but that's the first way I know.
I miss my Crown Vic. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thanks, Doug Lane, for becoming a member.
I'll tell you later, Shane.
So I only asked that question mainly because a lot of these civil radios, or like police, fire radios, are they seem pretty dang capable for ham use. And I've actually been looking into some of the Harris's, formerly MACOM, and I think even before that they were made by GE.
Mm-hmm.
The newest one, or the one that seems to be more available, is the XG100M, and it seems like a pretty dang cool radio to get if you can get one for cheap. Harris software seems like it's way more expensive than Motorola, though, so I don't know if I would go that route, but I'm keeping my eye out for a cheap one, so we'll see what happens.
The XG100M, I believe that's the mobile. Are you looking at the mobile?
Correct.
Yeah, that one does all the bands. It even does low band, like 6 meters. That's a really good radio.
I think it's just 6 meter receive though, but yeah, it does P25 phase 2. It does the whole entire ham band plus some for VHF as well as for UHF, and it seems really cool.
Band.
And not a VFO to be found, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And by the way, Shane, I got a Unication G4 scanner on the way.
That a boy.
Oh, those are, God, they're so expensive. I want one so bad. I do want one of those really bad.
Worth it.
Shane,
Worth it.
how do I put you on notification so you can notify me when there's a sale again, and then I can tell everybody to go buy this thing, because it is a fantastic handheld scanner. It is probably the best handheld scanner you can get.
I got mine on sale, but
I missed it. I missed the window, and I'm gonna wait.
it was like
Are we talking about
the Unication G4 scanner?
The pager.
It's a pager, yeah.
What I bought was a scanner.
No, well, it acts as a scanner, but it has the functionality of a pager.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
So they call it a pager, but yes, it's a scanner.
Right.
Yeah, so it has the scanner abilities, but the functionality of it, like the programming stuff, is as a pager. Josh, what I would recommend is reaching out to Ray at Ray's Pager Sales, and he's very, very good. Like he has very good customer service, and have him notify you when this next big sale comes on, and so that way when it comes up, you get an email or something, and boom, you have your sale there, I guess.
Yeah, so everybody watching, it's a $631 pager, because it's receive only, right? So it's a scanner, but it'll do many things. It's very cool.
Yeah,
it's the safest way to monitor a trunk system, because it does not affiliate. It only monitors the control channel it receives, but it will not affiliate to the system, so they don't even know you're there.
Yeah.
And Chase actually just dropped a link to Ray's Pager Sales, and that was the page I would suggest as well. So there you go.
Yeah. There's we should take a minute here, and I do want to move on to this topic because we gotta move on to other things. But so $630 for a pager is very expensive. I don't think anybody questions that. It's very expensive, but and hear me when I say this. There is a general coverage receiver, right? Like an R30 from Icom. That is a general coverage receiver. It receives a wide band of signals, right? Very useful in lots of situations. Then there are Motorola type radios. These are first responder radios, generally very expensive at retail, right? They're specifically banded in a certain way for the use that they have. And then there are scanners like an SDS 200, stuff like that will listen to trunked systems. They won't do encryption of any kind. They won't decode. They won't do any of that stuff. And you generally have to pay. They nickel and dime you to get like DMR and the different modes and whatnot. And then there's a pager. A pager, so what this is used for is literally a first responder could put this on their belt, like an EMT, a firefighter, or whatever, and they can use this when they're notified of a call. So you're literally buying something that a first responder would use when they would be pinged to be notified to respond to action, to something, right? Bit different than a radio that would be in like a vehicle or on a transceiver. This is a scanner / pager. Very specific use case for this. It's not your typical use case necessarily.
Yeah, there was like, it was $31 off, free shipping, and no state sales tax. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
Basically, for me, it
That
came in right at $600.
That is a big key point that Don brings up there too, Josh, is the shipping is free and there's no sales tax.
That's pretty good.
So for California, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I ended up buying it from Ray's. Jim had done a video on it, and he recommended Ray's and then some eBay store, and I missed the eBay store. So, and Ray's had the 30% off, and so on my birthday, I went ahead and bought it. So there you go.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right, let's dip in again. let's open it up a little bit. Anybody else with some questions on the Discord side? And Voice has been waiting. We'd love to hear it. And this is probably going to be like my last call for it because I'm going to have one more comment and then I'm wrapping up, I think.
Reacher?
I haven't. So I thought I was being the nice guy, and I didn't watch the new season of Reacher because my dad was coming to town, and I thought I'd watch it with him. But he was like, "Yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes. It's great." Okay, thanks. So
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I just watched the 4th one, man. I'm loving
it. So is it like as good as the first season from your point of view?
It's very different because it's a different set of people that are in it. And in fact, I'm not going to say who, but there was a cameo from the first season in the last episode, the 4th episode, that was really nice for them to point back at. But it's a different city, it's a different feel. I still like it, but yeah, it's not like, okay, this is like the old season. So I'd say jury's still out, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
I'm gonna have to get in on that. So
we have a very good question in Discord chat, and I see Digital Rancher has joined us as well.
Yeah, why don't we give a shout out to Digital Rancher and go for it, man. Are you there?
Well, hey, Josh. Hi, everybody in the chat. Merry Christmas to everybody, and happy holidays. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to report this week. I am doing the family thing. I'm out in Pennsylvania right now. One thing I am doing that I'm having a good time with. So when I travel for the holidays, I usually don't pack a lot of gear, and but I usually will bring my shortwave radio and an HT, and I've been playing around with my Tech Sun and with just the telescopic antenna, and I've just been amazed over the last day and a half here of how many FT8 signals I can decode coming in on that telescopic antenna. It's really, it gives you a new appreciation for FT8 as a weak signal mode. I mean, from Pennsylvania, I was getting New Zealand, Eastern Europe. From here it's easy to get Spain and Italy, but just kind of a neat, different slant on. Doing something with radio that I've been enjoying today and a little bit of yesterday. I do hope to maybe get one live stream in with. This is going to be like a really basic live stream because it's going to be with the D72, so it'll be with an HT, and I'm just looking for an opportunistic pass with good weather, and we're going to give it a shot and see if we can make some HT contacts on a live stream. But other than that, just doing the family thing, and really enjoyed what I did get to see of the telethon last night and of your show tonight, Josh. So
yeah, thanks
all
for
good
watching.
stuff.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, very cool. Right on. So what was the question that you saw there, Frank?
It's from Thomas, KC0VNY. He bought an absolute time capsule of a linear tube HF amp. It's a Yaesu Fox Lima 2100 Bravo. He's certain it hasn't seen electricity in 50 years, if at all. How does he power it up without having a very bad day? Someone suggested using a Variac to bring tubes up to the main voltage. And both Ted and I have agreed very slowly and with a Variac are definitely important. But I thought YouTube and others might want to chime in.
So I'm certainly not an authority of any sense here, but my understanding is that if the radio has questionable capacitors, that if there's leaky capacitors or whatever, that just bringing it into full operation with power is not advised. So you likely need to get all those checked out first, and I don't know specifically the radio off the top of my head what you're talking about. What was it again? Let me see if I can pull it up.
It's an amplifier.
The
actually.
Yaesu
amplifier.
Yaesu Fox Lima 2100 Bravo.
And
that might
yeah,
not be old enough that you have to worry about that.
And when you do that, when you're using a variac and slowly bringing the power up, that's one of the things you're looking for is bad caps.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be a way, is that you get it hooked up to a variac and then you start slowly bringing it up and you keep an eye out. But like a leaky cap isn't necessarily going to pronounce itself until there's a smoke bomb that goes off. You know what I mean? Like you're not, you don't really get a lot of forewarning if you catch my drift. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I thought that like when they smoke in that situation, it's not like smoking a transistor or something where you've got a lot of problems with it. You're going to be able to repair it anyway, right?
Sure. Yeah. All of it's repairable. I don't want you to have to go through that necessarily if you don't have to. So the good videos to watch on that is, it was already mentioned earlier, there was another channel, Mr. Carlson's Lab, did that light bulb expose, but he's also a really good channel to watch for older stuff. I don't know that this Yaesu necessarily fits that bill. How old is that radio or that amp? It's not that old, right? It's a tube amp, so it's like you can't be that crazy. By the way, there's a ton of videos on amplifier repair, it looks like, for that Yaesu. So you may want to also take a look at those first, right?
Apparently, it's about 40 years old. And Jody says the cap to worry about from Google is Charlie 220. It's a 6 kV, 1,000 picofarad cap used to block DC from tube plates.
Okay.
It uses 572 Bs, which are not too terribly hard to find.
Okay. I think I got to grab a link here. 1 second. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, there was a shout out in the chat. There is a sale going on right now. So if you've been waiting to buy something like Ham Radio Deluxe, so Ham Radio Deluxe link here in the chat.
While you're pulling,
what's that?
While you're pulling that out, he's asking now, how slow do you think on the variac? Bring it up over 30 minutes. Personally, I would go a lot longer and a lot slower. Just slowly bring it up and watch out for any trouble as you do it. But I'm sure Dawn or someone else might have something to say.
No, that's probably safe.
The guy I talked to at the company out of California, not too far from Josh, and I can't remember the name, Henry maybe, said he would go up to a week.
Wow.
That's slow.
Dang. All right. Well,
and it was basically because something hadn't been operated in so long, you really don't want to let the magic smoke out of it. So
also,
he told me literally a week.
We're also talking about the age difference between a Henry and this Yaesu is probably pretty decent. But I don't know. Being cautious is probably totally acceptable here, and probably the safe way to go, particularly if you don't want to have to go through a lengthy rebuild on it. So, yeah. I like the Variac idea, though. Good call. So the last thing I'm going to mention, I've heard, and you might have all heard this as well, Henry Cavill, our Lord and Savior Henry Cavill, nerd extraordinaire, the nerd with the most riz, he's got approval from Games Workshop to make a Warhammer 40K something, movie, series, I don't know, and it's greenlit with Amazon. Did anybody hear this? I'm very excited about this. This is like peak news. My wife came running and sending me like, oh my God, did you know that that Henry Cavill's doing a 40K thing? And I was like, I did know this, but she was excited to tell me about it. So is anybody following this news at all?
Little concerned that it might be Amazon, but
he's also the new Highlander. Oh my gosh, Henry Cavill, dude, that guy's awesome. Super enthused. We got to get that guy a ham radio license. He's the right nerd we need.
I'll be honest, I did not like him as Superman.
Oh, I don't mind you not liking him as Superman, but he's like an uber nerd. Like he plays D&D.
Oh yeah,
and 40K.
absolutely.
Like we need to get this guy a ham radio license. Let me just say that.
Oh yeah, I love him as a human. He's absolutely fantastic, but as Superman, no. But then again, no one can replace Christopher Reeves for me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Well, he was on like that Graham Norton show trying to explain Warhammer 40K to him. And it was just hilarious.
It's so funny. It was on some other thing. He was like, "Oh, what army are you playing?" And he's like, "Oh, I just got Necrons." This is other guy talking to him. He's like, "Oh, I play Custodes," and I'm like, "Of course, Henry Cavill plays Custodes." Anyway, I'm not going to go down the Warhammer 40K. I got the producer off set here pointing at me saying, like, got to wrap this up. So I think I got to wrap it up here, guys. It's been a glorious year. Oh my gosh! All hail the death of the Musk Hyperloop. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. And
you and I have the same feeling on it.
You can't make me stay longer to bash more on Elon Musk. All I'll say is, what a year it's been for that guy. I feel totally vindicated. All those times I've gone on a rant on the live streams talking about how I don't like freaking Elon Musk. Totally vindicated.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you thank Leia for all years worth of live streams.
Oh my gosh.
And letting us play.
Yeah, seriously. The person who needs the most respect is Leia for letting me do this. And also being on the podcast. The fact that I can rope her in to do that for multiple hours a week is insane. So all right, guys. Cheers to all of you. Please enjoy the whatever break time you get. I know you all need it, and I hope you can maybe fill it with a little bit of ham radio love. So go forth and conquer, as the One Tank Radio would say. All right.
Josh, you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and your family. And if I get to see you when I'm down there in SoCal next weekend, I get to see you. If not, another time.
Yeah, ping me. Send me a DM or something. We'll see if we can catch up. I think I'll be around. I think I will.
I sent you one a couple weeks ago. I'll send you a follow-up once I know for sure. I won't know for sure until Friday.
Yeah, hit me up like a day before, and I'll see if I can fit it in.
Sounds good. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and all of you.
Yeah, man. Everybody go have a great time. Please enjoy yourself.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Good job. Good
Merry
job.
Christmas, guys.
And for everybody else, happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Take it easy. See ya. All right. So we're off the Discord. Thanks, everybody on the YouTube for watching. This year has been super awesome. Some challenges. I've had some personal challenges along the way this year, but it's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate you all being along for the ride and still watching the videos. I've got things sorted out. I think that in the new year, I've challenged myself to get done with that general license exam prep. So you can expect that hopefully in the beginning of the year here. That's my goal anyway. I'm setting a personal goal there. 73 to all of you. I really do mean that when I say that. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy work schedule to hang out, or just personal free time on a Saturday, right? To hang out, talk ham radio. Continue to do all the things you're doing. And if you can fit more radio in there, think about doing that and sharing it with the people around you. 73, enjoy the memes, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. 73, everybody. Have a great rest of your year. Take it easy. Hello, Chloe. See ya.